Hey everyone, welcome to Live Tolkien on Tap. Um, I didn't even blast this out. Maybe I should fucking blast this out. Be like, hey, impromptu Live Tolkien on Tap. And if Zay comes in, then this is just what it is. Ah, shit, get smaller. I need to make this fucking box smaller. There we go. Leave chat down there, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, chat's underneath. That's all I need, really. Oh, this is kind of cool. All right. All right. I'm gonna blast this out on Jim Smith is with us. How you doing? We're doing live Tolkien on Tap. I have David the Ñoldo with me. This feels like a radio show right now, David. It's cool because like on YouTube it'll be whoever's talking, but like I can see you. Um, you wanna post this on some socials real quick, David?
Yeah. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this to the socials. Do apps?
I'm just writing impromptu live Tolkien on Tap on YouTube.
Dude, I'm so like technologically illiterate when it comes to like
What are we
I
doing,
mean, you see me on
Glamdring?
some of these oh there it goes.
Yeah,
Sure.
we are impromptu live Tolkien on tapping it right now. Um, I don't know. Everything's always fly by the seat of your pants. So this is we're just trying it out. Um, we had someone who forgot it was today, which no big deal. So we are live right now. We can do questions, we can do jokes, it doesn't matter. But it's all Tolkien, it's on tap, grab a drink. And like I said, I've got my friend David Donaldo with me. What are you drinking, David?
I'm drinking Perfect Suntory beer or PSB. It's a
What
it's
kind of
only
beer is it?
5%. It's like a lager.
Oh, okay. Is that a
It's like a
microbrew?
it's like a Japanese beer.
Okay. You
Yeah.
still in that? You still in that Japanese mode from being over there?
I'm actually here right now.
You're in Japan right now?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing in Japan right now?
I mean, taking advantage of remote work. Or yeah, I'm not sure as far as how public this should be, but yeah, taking advantage of
Fair,
remote work.
fair. Listen, you offered that. I'm gonna put this on Blue Sky too.
cut, cut.
Cut. We'll edit that. This is no edits, by the way,
Edit
David.
that out. Edit
This
that
is
out.
no edits this time. This is just live Tolkien impromptu live Tolkien on tap. David, so
See,
about your time
I'm
in
in Japan in Minecraft is what I meant to say. In
I was gonna
Minecraft,
say
I'm in
in my
Japan.
heart.
Yeah, in my heart, I am still in Japan.
Japan is really just the
I,
friends you made along the way,
I got
anyways.
this from the Mitsuwa in Little Tokyo, is what I meant. I meant Little Tokyo, Los Angeles.
That's hilarious. Come join us and ask questions. I mean, everybody else is doing YouTube lives this weekend. Why don't I? Like, why not? Sorry, guys. I have a little bit of a cold. So I'm a little sniffly. Oh, it looks like Zay just hit me back up on the Tiki Takis.
On the
Let's
Tiki
see.
Takis.
On the Tiki Takis. Hold on. Let me just use my phone. I might use my iPad for like a peasant or something. Let's see. Um, I'm
Like a
coming.
peasant.
He needs 5 extra minutes. Zay is gonna be like, when he finds out what we're doing. Hello,
I
Dan.
did
How are
not
you?
sign up for this.
Hey, by the way, welcome to the first ever live Tolkien on Tap with the unassuming Zay, who will be joining us shortly. uh, and also, David just did a surprise for us that will not be here, but you will see it or hear it. I see it a little bit too in some coming episodes. So watch out for that. David had an amazing idea, and I absolutely wanted to take advantage of that. I wish I could hang all night, but I have to get ready for the week and head to bed. No, I get it. I get it. Um, call in with your questions. This is totally like Tolkien on Tap radio station right now. So David, oh, you're gonna keep changing it? Right on.
I
What
mean,
background? I can't change my background anymore. I tried to turn off my green screen and it wouldn't change my green screen. I don't know.
also this is by Max Beach Collective, the artwork.
Okay.
So just to throw that out there. He does excellent work. This isn't actually his this is one of at least two that I know of. His of
Okay.
Finwë Ñolofinwë, or Articano Finwë Ñolofinwë. Fingolfin, hiking the Noldor, Thracers and Cold Star, Godwunder, Heel
That's a
Cleaver,
drink. That's
the
a drink,
Gleaming
everyone. He
Star,
mentioned Finwë Ñolofinwë.
the Bolt of Blue.
That's right. Let's get into the drinking rules, by the way. Matter of fact, no, we'll wait for Zay because I do have to introduce it to Zay as well. This is just vamping before we get to the actual show. Welcome to the pre-show, everyone.
Wait, so what would I do for Finderato? Fuck. What was
Finderato and Ñoldo
Wait, so
Felagund.
no, because is Ñoldo his mother is Amalise or his Atalese
That's his mother name.
in Ñoldo?
Yeah, his mom named
Okay.
him after his father.
Oh, so it would be Ñoldo Finderato Felagundo.
Oh, you went middle name first?
I usually go Arcano. Just like I do
Oh,
the
you do Arcano first? Okay.
yeah, I do Mighty
see,
Mo
go ahead.
Mighty Mo Lusando Ñolofinwë.
Oh, see, I always say Finderato Ñoldo Felagund, King of Narcostarando the Badger. I mean, I don't have as many names as you do for Ñolofinwë. By the way, that's 2 drinks, David. Dinopark Dan says, better be there in the next Tolkien Reading Day live stream.
I know I want to.
Were you traveling?
Yeah, I was so bummed I didn't actually get to attend because I did want to do that.
You were name dropped. Ethan read part of the Fall of Fingolfin. He read all the way up until he got to the gate. It wasn't the fall. It was damn it, take a drink. Ñolofinwë going to Thengorodrim. And then he ended right there. It was really cool though.
Nice. I mean, I could always pick up where he left off.
Do you know it by heart?
No, I don't know it by heart.
That's disappointing, David.
I mean, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at memorizing. Like, unless I put it to song, I'm not going to be able to memorize that. Like, that's why I'm impressed by like Lee and like Kaya and everybody who can memorize like the
fact that Lee can do the
oath and
the oath.
And, like,
that's what it is.
And Gilgalad. I need to like put it to song so that I can memorize that because it's easier when I can do like that. I'm pretty sure I could probably find some way to do at least that'd be dope to learn the Lay of Lathian version too.
Dan says that you missed his face and his reading, and then he says LMAO, maybe he was lucky. Dan showed his face on live television ish, nice. Whatever this is.
What reading did you do, Dan?
He did Shelob's Lair. Okay. Them pawing through the darkness of Shelob's Lair. I think it was all the way up until I don't know. I ended up drinking a lot last night. Oops.
Surprise!
Can you see why I chose this format for this podcast? Yeah, no, it was the Sam and Frodo chapter in Shelob's Lair, and it was funny because he had his screen. It was just his name on there, and when he got done, he figured out how to turn the camera on to see your face, and he it was someone said, "Oh, it's like you were in Shelob's Lair, in the darkness of Shelob's Lair." Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's dope.
Yeah, no, until Frodo uses the file of Glahadriel. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember how far you got, but yeah, it was until the file. I was pretty sure it went that far. What does he say? I know it ends with Kalima. It's not the song, so David won't remember. I won't remember because I just have a terrible memory.
Yeah.
For stuff like that. Should we do the thing where we just look at our books for 10 minutes before we find it?
I mean, I can do my Ñolofinwë reading right now if y'all want me to. I always have my.
I always have my. Do it. Absolutely.
All right. So here we go. Now news came to Hisalome that Sordenore was lost and the sons of Ardafinwe. God, I'm already there, man. All right, start over. Now news came to Hisalome. Take two. Hi.
How many beers did you have before we started, David?
I mean, only this one, but I kind of only had like one thing to eat, so All right, here we go. Now news came to Hisalome that Sornore was lost and the sons of Finwë overthrown, and that the sons of Feanado were driven from their lands, that Finwë Ñolofinwë beheld, as it seemed to him, the utter ruin of the Noldor, and the defeat beyond redress of all their houses. And filled with wrath and despair, he mounted upon Rochalar, his great horse, and rode forth alone, and none might restrain him. He passed over Dor Newfalglise like a wind amid the dust, and all that beheld his onset fled in amaze, thinking that Orome himself was come, for a great madness of rage was upon him, so that his eyes shone like the eyes of the Valar. Thus he came alone to Angamondo's gates, and he sounded his horn and smote once more upon the brazen doors, and challenged Morgos to come forth to single combat. And Morgos came. That was the last time in those wars that he passed the doors of his stronghold, and it is said that he took not the challenge willingly, for though his might was greatest of all things in this world, alone of the Valar he knew fear. But he could not now deny the challenge before his face of his captains, for the rocks rang with the shrill music of Finwë Ñolofinwë's horn, and his voice came keen and clear down into the depths of Angamondo, and Finwë Ñolofinwë named Morgos Craven and Lord of Thralls. Therefore Morgos came, climbing slowly from his subterranean throne, and the rumor of his feet was like thunder underground, and he issued forth clad in black armor, and he stood before the king like a tower, iron-crowned, and his vast shield, sable emblazoned, cast a shadow over him like a storm cloud. But Finwë Ñolofinwë gleamed beneath it as a star, for his mail was overlaid with silver, and his blue shield was set with crystals, and he drew his sword Ringil that glittered like ice. Then Morgos hurled aloft Grond, the hammer of the underworld, and swung it down like a bolt of thunder. But Finwë Ñolofinwë sprang aside, and Grond rent a mighty pit in the earth. Once smoke and fire darted. Many times Morgos essayed to smite him, and each time Finwë Ñolofinwë leapt aside, as lightning shoots from under a dark cloud, and he wounded Morgos with 7 wounds, and 7 times Morgos gave a cry of anguish, whereat the hosts of Angamondo fell upon their faces in dismay, and the cries echoed in the Northlands. But at the last the king grew weary, and Morgos bore down his shield upon him. Thrice he was crushed to his knees, and thrice arose again and bore up his broken shield and stricken helm. But the earth was all rent and pitted about him, and he stumbled and fell backward before the feet of Morgos. And Morgos set his left foot upon his neck, and the weight of it was like a fallen hill. Yet with his last and desperate stroke, Finwë Ñolofinwë hewed the foot with Ringil, and the blood gushed forth, black and smoking, and filled the pits of Grond. Thus died Finwë Ñolofinwë, High King of the Noldor.
All right, how many times do we have to drink for that? How many times did you say his name?
Most proud and valiant of the elven kings of old. The orcs made no boast of that duel at the gate, neither do the elves sing of it, for their sorrow is too deep. Yet the tale of it is remembered still, for Sorantar, king of eagles, brought the tidings to Ondolinde and to Hisalome afar off, and Morgos took the body of the elven king, and broke it, and would cast it to his wolves. But Sorantar came hasting from his eyrie among the peaks of the Crisaigrim, and he stooped upon Morgos and marred his face. The rushing of the wings of Sorantar was like the noise of the winds of Manwë, and he seized the body in his mighty talons, and soaring suddenly above the darts of the orcs, he bore the king away. And he laid him upon a mountain top that looked from the north upon the hidden valley of Ondolinde, and Turakano coming built a high cairn over his father. No orc dared ever after to pass over the mount of Finwë Ñolofinwë, or draw nigh his tomb, until the doom of Ondolinde was come, and treachery was born among his kin. Yeah. Morgos went ever halt of 1 foot. Morgos went ever halt of 1 foot after that day, and the pain of his wounds could not be healed. In his face was the scar that Sarantar made. Great was the lamentation in Hisalome when the fall of Finwë Ñolofinwë became known, and Finnecano in sorrow took the lordship of the house of Finwë Ñolofinwë and the kingdom of the Noldor. But his young son, Artanesto, who was after named Gil-galad, he sent to the Havens.
Nice, David. Very nice. All right, but seriously, how many times did you say his name? How many drinks do we need to take?
God, I don't even remember how many.
Just finish the whole drink. Got it.
I said 10 times at the very least.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I guess I'll keep going. I didn't go get extra booze because I didn't think that I would drink that much during this one. Watch me be wrong and have to pause this and run to the liquor store that's
Gonna go
right
to
there.
the corner store.
It's yeah, it's literally right. It's like maybe a 4 minute walk.
I mean, when I said I had to go grab food, I also had to stock up. So,
Oh, I got you. I was playing that video game almost all day with my friends. That 7 Days
the
to Die.
zombie one,
Yeah, yeah,
nice.
yeah. It's really fun. Wow, we're almost on the seventh day. I have not gotten to the seventh day yet, so we'll see how that goes. That's when like hordes come at you and there's like specialty zombies and stuff like
Nice.
that. Yeah. Um. So David, why don't you have that memorized yet? Why haven't you put that to song? What song
I
would you put that to? Would you like parody that into something? Not
I don't
parody,
know.
or would you like want to try to make your own something? Oh my God, you should make your own something. Make a
I probably just
delay of Ñolofinwë. Oh,
I'd probably
drink.
just versify it and like put it into stanzas. Like that's why
Hmm.
it's probably easier for me to do the one in the Lays of Belerion because it
Yeah.
has the rhyming scheme. You know, I mean it's kind of like, just, so here we go. We're gonna go into the tangent.
Yes, do
So
it. I love it.
it's kind of like how, so one of the things in studying either myths or like religions is usually if something's in a verse form, if it's like in a poem, it's usually seen as the oldest form of the story, or like the oldest part of a specific story because oral traditions, it's easy for people to memorize things when it's put into song, when it's put into verse, and it has like
Yeah.
those types of things. And so like the thing that I love about the Lays of Belerion and why like it's so fascinating, even when we talk about like the movie adaptation part of it, is that it's it's Tolkien building off of that, right? Like he already had in Book of Lost Tales 1 and 2
Yeah.
his mythology,
Mm-hmm.
being developed. But then
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Oh, like this needs to be in more of like a poetic form, in
Mm-hmm.
like this tradition of lays, because that gives that added air of it furthers the conceit of his world being like a real type of mythology, just like the Poetic Edda, just like the Homeric epic poems, all throughout, even when we were talking about on was it Thursday about the Arthurian legends, how some of the
Oh
older
yeah.
Arthurian legends are by, was it Crescent de Troyes, de Troyes?
Mm-hmm.
Those are all verse forms. Excuse me. Those are all verse forms of those Arthurian legends.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, like, that's one of the, the coolest things that, not one of the coolest things. It's one of the, like, many cool things Tolkien does to give that added flair to his mythology is him doing that with the Lays of Belerion.
That's cool.
But also like he created, like, I forget, I think he created at least one of his own like meters that like didn't exist or he didn't know existed in
Oh,
any
I
other
didn't know
form
that.
yet. Yeah.
I don't think I knew that. You have to send me that. See, that's one of my favorite things about like knowing enough about the legendarium to like engage on a deeper level, but also like I still have so much to explore.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and
one
that's
of my
the
favorite things because like talking with you and Lee and like everybody honestly like so Gloomweaver need passcode. All right, hold on, say it's did you not get the email, buddy? Hold on, because I used what you sent me, so hold on, let me just a second, David, I gotta get this
no, you're
for
fine.
well, I'm gonna try to do two things at once. Let's see if it works out. Gloomweaver sent me a message and she was like, "Hey, go into Book of Lost Tales or is it unfinished? Hold on, let me look right here. That's Book of Lost Tales 1 of the Valar. Towards the end of it, there's a part about Nienna that you should read, and it's when her name is Fui,
Yeah.
and it talks about how she weaves these clouds of gloom. And I was like, oh my god, she's a gloom weaver, and like I hadn't read that before, and that was really cool. I learned something today. Well, it was 2 days ago, but sent. Okay. Nope, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. All sent. Let's do all sent. Here we go. All right. I'm gonna throw it in chat. Oops, that's a V. I need the C. There you go. Now anybody can join. Actually, that would be fun if people like who just wanted to hop up did. I did invite Gloomweaver. I said, "Hey, we're live if you want to hop in." I know it's like midday and you have kids, but feel free to hop in if you want. But yeah, that's one of my favorite things about being part of the Tolkien community is like just continuing to learn and grow and like watching people who know far more than me also do the same thing. It's awesome.
Well, that's the great like beauty of it, especially coming back to, and I don't even say it's a I don't want to even say it's necessarily death of the author, but more just the type of reader reception. Like everybody comes to the text, with their own background and their own like expertise or knowledge about different things, and then seeing people read it and then them being like informing us like through their informing the reading through that lens and being
Mm-hmm.
able to like present that is such a fascinating thing to me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's what infuriates me when people make it only like approach it with a very narrow-minded view of like, oh, because he's Roman Catholic it has to be this exact thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can say like given his background that can be like one informing part, but that doesn't mean that everybody has to adopt that.
Right. Right.
And it
And
doesn't
that.
mean, and like in what we were saying, what Lee was saying in the of the Ñoldo squad like
Mm-hmm.
episode, like just because he's Roman Catholic doesn't mean he abides by every like jot and tittle of Vatican One or Vatican Two or what have you,
Well,
or
yeah,
like
specifically that conversation about suicide that got brought
yeah,
up. Like, and she just reiterated that with you and I and our group chat about how the ones who do commit that in the legendarium are treated with reverence and much respect. Zay, what's going
Jose,
on?
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? I didn't know if y'all
how
can
you
see me.
doing?
Dude, I used the email address that you sent me.
I don't even know. It's been a day.
I'm so
No, no
sorry to hear
worries,
that.
man.
It's been a day, guys. I can't even explain it.
No worries, man. No worries, man. So I'm gonna also like take this and by the way, Zay, welcome to the very first live Tolkien on Tap.
I see.
Yeah,
I feel so special.
yeah, welcome. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you. Everybody knows David, that has listened to the podcast. If you've listened before, David the Ñoldo, good
Mhm.
friend of mine. He was on the very first, technically first 4 episodes, but it was like one long interview. Um, this is Zay Zay, who I met through Tolkien Talk on
Mhm.
TikTok. Um, and I wanted to have him on. Zay just read the Silmarillion recently, but so what we do on here is normally I introduce people and I ask them how they got into Tolkien. So go ahead and tell us how you got into Tolkien, Zay.
Whew, okay. Well, this is a story that's going to date back 20 plus years. I remember I was in an apartment with my one of my nephews, cousins. It was one of them. This goes back to 2002, the summer of 2002. I remember very vividly. And I believe at the time, Fellowship of the Ring just came out on VHS. And it was like right before Two Towers came out. And I remember the first time just sitting down, just watching it, just getting engulfed in the world, just pulling me in and didn't let me go until like literally the last minute. And I think after that, after the time I saw Fellowship, I have been hooked on Tolkien ever since. And especially when I actually got a chance to go see Return of the King on opening day in 2003. And it just deepened my love for the series. And I remember just after Return of the King came out, I went to go get the books. I started reread Fellowship, Two Towers, to the point I think my my mother was kind of tired of me reading everything Lord of the Rings. I mean, she's like, "Do you read anything else?" And I'm like, "No, this just has my attention." I mean, I think me and Lee kind of had that same similar story. Like our family members were always going like, "Oh, they're like you always so caught up in the world of Lord of the Rings," and I'm like, "This is where I feel at home at. This is where I feel like I could be myself. I could see myself." I remember, especially after the movies came out, it was definitely one of those. Oh my God, I used to have dreams of the Shire. I'll say that. I don't think I've ever admitted that to anyone until today. So yeah, that's how I got introduced to Lord of the Rings, was by the way of the films. And I'm a avid rewatcher every single year. Christmas time, I always either start in my year or start my year with Lord of the Rings. So it's either one.
Very cool, very cool. So the movies brought you to it, and then
Yes.
you just consumed it.
Yes.
Awesome. That's
sometime in the same week. I remember there was time I used to watch it twice in the same week.
Very cool. Very cool. I gotta get this link real quick because someone else wants to join. So
cool.
for those who are gonna listen after the fact, or anybody who just jumped in the comments, Bardavarda, I see you. How you doing? I'm doing this is the very first ever live. This is a sporadic, like, hey, let's go live, do Tolkien on Tap live. This will be recorded and thrown on my podcast stuff in a few weeks whenever this episode gets around, because I've got like a ton that I have to edit together and everything. I just currently have to get the link to someone. So David's basically like partner here. So take it away. You can ask whatever you want. I mean, you've been on here, you know what we do. Oh, you know what? Before I do this, Zay, you haven't actually been on. I have to read you some rules before we start, buddy.
Oh, cool.
All right. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast or not.
I have while I was working.
Okay, fair enough. So, what are you drinking tonight, Zay?
Tonight I already had like a shot of brandy, because I don't know if you guys can hear. I'm kind of have a head cold right now.
I got brandy here too. That's right. I forgot. If I'm running low, oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Okay. What else you got going on?
But for right now, I just gotta, drinking some water to clear out my system. My kids got me sick, so
oh no,
I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm kind of a little congested, but
okay.
I'm all
so
good.
You're kind of if you're designated, our designated drivers we call Bill the Pony. So if you're a Bill the Pony tonight, that's absolutely fine. That's perfectly fine. Me and David will get
absolutely.
Me and David will get drunk enough for you. Don't worry about it. But so for those in chat, then, and David,
also, should we add, like, when I said right there, how many? I'll get drunk too much if we add like to the saying like too many damn times.
No. That would be akin to me having to drink, or all of us having to drink, if I say literally, because I say literally quite a bit. I'm a Valley Girl, apparently.
It was either episode 3 or 4 that I was like, in the first 15 minutes, I said like I have no many goddamn times. It was fucking ridiculous, man. Like, because I was listening to it in my car when I was driving. It's like, holy shit, man! Like, what the hell?
Okay,
oh no, I can say no. I can actually match that. Hey, I say literally, like, it annoys me how much I say literally.
Okay, so Zay, if you do end up changing your mind, since you are home, and you did have brandy, you're not fully Bill the Pony, but you might end up. But if you choose to,
oh yeah, I can go get me some.
You don't have to. You don't have to. But if you do decide, and everyone in chat, if you want to drink along, we drink 4 anytime. We're gonna pause the game right now. This is because this would get me drunk off the bat. This is just the introduction to the rules. We drink 4. Finderato being mentioned, Ñolofinwë being mentioned, Ñolofinwë being mentioned. If we say fuck Elwë Singolo, Sindiculo, or Eluthingle, if the Athrobeth is mentioned, if the Shibboleth is mentioned, if we mention Autofinwë, if we say talk about Gandalf loving hobbits, if we mention Faramir, or for Frodo. All right.
So basically, any type of Finway is mentioned, we just drink it.
Pretty much.
Not any type of. There's 4 Finways that we drink for. Yes. I'm gonna get someone the link. David, go ahead and take it away for a little bit.
All right. So
he did just finish the Silmarillion. Zay Zay did. So let's have him talk a little bit about that.
Because there's another part you didn't ask that we started this Tolkien on Tap off. Since you've gotten through the Silmarillion, who is your favorite elf?
Oh God, I already know which one. I'm gonna be totally real. Okay, so of course we got our guy Finrod, because Finrod is one of the most awesomest, kindest elves I think there is in that part of the First Age. And then I got Fingolfin, because come on now, he put 7 lashes on one of the baddest dudes in Middle Earth, which no one has been able to do since then. And elf, right now, I have a fascination with. Wait, no, it's Turgon's not an elf, is he? No,
Turgon.
Yeah, Turgon and Turgon. Those are my top 3.
Nice. So 2 of them are Ñolofinwëans, TJ. So.
Oh boy.
Oh God, that's right. My bad. Sorry, that's right. I forgot Cinderin. Yeah, like I said, Cinderin still counts.
No. I was giving him shit because that's two. We have Finwë, Ñolofinwë, Fingolfin, and we have Turgon Turakano. No.
Right.
Over against the Arafinwë and Finarfin types.
Oh, that's so rude of you.
Oh my goodness. It's gonna be fun.
So
All right, so
how did you feel about the Silmarillion? I just want to hear all of your
Oh.
thoughts on Silmarillion. Favorite parts, least favorite parts, what hung you up, what you had to read over again. Like this is one of the most interesting things to me is when someone has read something for the first time. And for everyone else who is going to hear this later, Zay and David and I have talked about some of this before. But I want to give Zay like the floor to just gush. You know, any tangent you go on,
okay.
do it.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Mhm.
Prepare for that tangent. All right. First thing, I think it really comes up to the chapter with the Unchained and Melkor, because what the hell? Like, why? I understand that Iluvatar made them where they couldn't necessarily contemplate the thought of evil, but you can clearly see plain as day that letting him out was a bad idea, especially when you were getting um kind of pushback from Tulkas and Orome, which kept their eyes on this elf, the higher being, ex Vatlar. Why? Like that? I don't get the understanding of that. You locked him up for a reason, and you think him doing time in they put him in the void the first time as well, right?
No,
I'm
he's in
trying
the
to
halls of
no,
Mandos.
Halls of
yeah,
Mandos. There you go.
Mendoza.
That's right. No, I'm thinking about
That's
the
why
last.
Feanor says, "Get thee gone from my gate, thou jail crow of Mandos."
Yeah, there you go. That's like I said. I'm still working out
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's a little bumpy, but I just don't. I feel like, especially now that I'm reading the Akelabeth, I feel like Manwë and Iluvatar, both of them, they are so suspect to me now. But I'll get to the part about what I was reading in the Akelabeth today. But just that whole everything that happened with Melkor, the destroying the two trees, first off, letting him go to do that, you not knowing that he was not even still in the border, like he was within the borders of your land, and you didn't know he was in the dark part of Valinor, which you apparently didn't have any type of guards on. And it just that whole chapter just perplexes me, because you're supposed to be these, well, sort of all knowing. Your knowledge does have its limits, but you're supposed to be these gods of Arda, but yet you're making choices because you only can see the good. And I feel like I put more of Iluvatar. It's a whole thing that I'm just trying to work out. Work out in my own thoughts, really, because that's about as really as far as I got, because I know I'm gonna have to go back and reread the entire chapter and just kind of just see if there was anything that I missed, because that's what I got from it on my first read. It's like you all got advice from your other Valar saying that, I don't know, this is not maybe not a good thing to do, but you did it anyway. But hey.
So you've already started rereading stuff because I believe it was a couple of days ago you
Parts
said you
of it.
finished.
Yeah,
Right?
I finished like the Quintus Silmarillion of it all. So kind of
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, I finished the Quintus Silmarillion. So yeah, I started just looking back at certain passages, because there were some things that were coming up in my mind about, just about the whole, like, just going back to when Melkor was unchained, because I was wondering if I missed something, because it seemed like it was pretty to the point. But I'm like, okay, I'm thinking like maybe there's something in the Book of Lost Tales that I probably need to go look, and that's why I'm just like, I'm still new into getting into the book verse of the Tolkien verse. So I'm just like, okay, let me just take my time before I make any solid judgments. But that's kind of where I am on the Melkor side, at least.
I got you. Real quick, we have a special guest also who just popped
Oh,
up. Dinopark Dan, who we also
Hello.
know from TikTok. Hello, Dan.
What's up,
Um,
Dan?
Dinopark Dan always hides his face when we're on TikTok, but when we do these Zooms, he started, what was that, yesterday, showing his face. So welcome, Dinopark Dan, to the first ever live Tolkien on Tap. Fly by the seat of your pants. We do whatever we want around here.
Sure,
Dan, why
why
don't you
not?
introduce yourself and tell us how you got into Tolkien?
Well, Dinopark Dan, or just Dan, is fine. A friend of mine, when I was in about 6th grade, I think it was, took me to see The Fellowship in the theaters. Didn't know anything about it. And he took me. His dad, I guess, had read the books years ago, and I was immediately obsessed. I think I saw it 2 more times in the theater, and then I immediately ran out. My mom took me to the library to get the books, so I got the Fellowship out of the library, and then I must have had, because my birthday's in December, I must have had birthday money or Christmas money left over. And I said, I need to own these books.
Fair.
So I ran out and got the box set, the movie tie-in box set.
Yeah.
And I read them to death.
Nice.
So sometime last year, I opened the Fellowship and 40 pages fell out. So
Oh my
all over the
gosh.
floor.
I
Wow.
think it's time for a new book, Dan.
Yeah, so I upgraded, but yeah, it's been 20 some years now. So
nice. Are you drinking tonight or no?
Water.
Drinking water. Oh, you're also we're gonna have some Build the Ponies hanging around tonight. I get it. It is we are recording this on Sunday. And I just realized I didn't start recording on Zoom. Thank God YouTube records. No, it's all good. YouTube records. Anytime you go live, YouTube records. Good God, I hope so. Let me go look real quick.
Oh,
Like,
no.
guys, you want to run all this back?
I wouldn't mind it.
No, I'm pretty sure that I'll just go look at my stuff real quick. Hold on, guys. You can keep talking. Oh, it says I'm live right now.
So Dan, who is your favorite elf of the Silmarillion?
Ooh. I like Veronwë.
Okay, solid choice.
I mean, he's not a noble, he's not a royal, but
yeah, he's a Noldor, so I mean,
well, true, but I mean, he's not one of the greats that but he's just so critical to that story.
He is.
Yeah, you read that story, right? So, yeah, just and I read The Fall of Gondolin last month, the supplemental text, and it just he's just so great.
I know that's my next read after I get through the Kelebeth.
That's really good. Really good.
Zay, I have a question since you have just finished Silmarillion. Does it make you look at Rings of Power differently?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, now that I know what characters are which now, especially like when I think I made it into a post. I think now, because now I think I'm about to become one of those book readers that kind of notice things outside of the show that, oh yeah, we got to see this, but we can't see these such and such characters. Like, for example, I think it was one of those still images. I think we first got a Rings of Power when they first announced, like, the show was coming, and we had a Tyrion on screen. And it made me, especially when we got introduced to I think it was Finrod. I didn't know that was Finrod in that
twice.
Damn.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't know it was him in that still image. And now when I look at it, I'm like, oh God, we got to see Tyrion. And that means Fëanor could be in that city. The House of Finwë is in Tyrion in this still now. And I'm like, why couldn't we see them? And now, yeah, it's definitely changed my view, especially now that I know that Galadriel was a part of this story literally since the beginning. And I mean, it really broadens my viewpoint on who she is and how long she's really been attached in this story. Like, since since her, like, the beginning of the Years of the Trees. And I'm like, oh wow, this is, I thought she was just basically Third Age when I first read Lord of the Rings. Like, she's she's been around a long time, but the Silmarillion really kind of extends that knowledge, and it really makes me appreciate more of the First Age stories, because without the First Age, we don't get much of the Third Age or even the Second Age even, and it really just kind of completes that missing piece of my brain about how, like, everything with Morgoth that led to Sauron, and then Sauron led to the One Ring, and it just, my knowledge feels more completer now, and I just completer, but it's complete.
Had you read the appendices before? Because when I first read the Lord of the Rings, I didn't read the appendices like an idiot.
Well,
that's not to say that people who don't read it are idiots. That's to say I feel like I was not smart for just leaving it to the story proper, because I didn't read like the prologue either, which looking back was not wise, because like you just gain so much extra context. So did you read the appendices and the prologue when you first read the Lord of the Rings?
Okay, I'll admit, when it comes to the appendices, I read parts of it. Like I was so interested in, you know, the timeline of, you know, the events of the War of the Ring, of, you know, some of the Second Age. I kind of skipped around when I first read the books, because I felt like by the time the story was over, I'm like, oh great, it's an index of things that happened, and I kind of just used it for research purposes.
I'll be
It's
honest,
just,
I didn't read the appendices until I was in my 30s. So I get it. You
hey,
know, I completely understand. Also, we have another special guest who just popped in. Sam the Gloomweaver. Hi,
what?
Sam.
What's up, Sam?
Hey, Sam.
Hello.
Are you here?
This is special.
Sam, are you here?
Oh no, did we scare her away?
No, she's here. I don't know if her audio is working yet. She on her end, she has to turn her audio and her, if she wants her camera on, to turn that on. She doesn't have to.
Zay Zay, so when you rewatch Rings of Power and that prologue scene, did you notice something that was more, what's the word? Not enlightening or informative, but from your reading of the Silmarillion, did you notice something on Finrod Findoratto's deathbed? Did you notice something that was more like that reading the Silmarillion kind of enhanced or give you like, I know what that is type of thing?
I think somebody mentioned it to me before, because I have to go back and rewatch it. It was something that had to do with, oh doggone it, what was it?
How did Finrod die? Damn it, I'll take a drink for that.
I'm trying to remember. It's so much knowledge. Finrod.
Well, he said it again.
I'm sorry. We're gonna be totally
Zay Zay's gonna get me fucked up.
It's like the Knights in Knee.
Yeah.
Stop saying that word.
That's funny because that's my last name.
It's what is it?
Yeah, that's funny because that's my last name. So whenever people learn that's my last name, I always hear that fucking skit. But that's spelled N-I. My last name is 2 E's. It's like your appendage without the K, which I've had to tell people since I was a fucking child. But anyways, so how did my beloved die? Zay Zay, you remember?
I'm trying to remember, because
what happens in Baron and Luthien, brother?
Yes.
You know.
There we go. As soon as you mentioned Baron and Luthien, it
there we go.
back.
Okay, you just needed the connection.
Yes, thank you. He died saving Baron. By being torn apart by Sauron the werewolf.
Not almost.
Well, not almost, but he was.
No. Sauron wasn't a werewolf, but there was one in the dungeon.
Which is
okay. I think that's how I was getting.
Yeah, to be fair,
Sauron does turn into a werewolf to go fight Huan, but he does not do it
up too.
Yeah.
I mix those up too, because I'm always like, he died by Sauron werewolf, but it's like, no, he's technically killed by werewolves.
He was killed by Sauron's werewolves. Instead of the Sauron, instead of Wolf Sauron. Yeah.
But I get the confusion because he has the Battle of Song with Sauron. And he loses to Sauron at that. And then he gets tossed to the literal wolves or werewolves and torn up. And that's where, like, because I often was saying the same thing. I was like, oh yeah, it was his werewolf Sauron. I was like, no. I'm like, fuck, no, that's not right. It's when I was reading, he was like, what's up, Sam?
There's Sam. This is our Australian friend, Sam. No, it's not working. Oh no, we're having technical difficulties.
Is there a button on your headphones that turn on the mics? No. Nope.
Yeah, it shows that you're muted.
All right, I just unmuted you.
Okay.
No, you can go hit audio, and you can go test your speaker real quick.
Or if you're doing it from your laptop or computer, it might be like the little setting for the source. Like, was it Realtek Audio if you're on PC or what have you?
We'll get it. You asked about how Finrod died. I thought you were talking about in the show.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I don't know if we were
They
told
show
that.
it. They show it.
yeah, they show the
It's
wolf
alluded to.
scar.
Yep, he's
Scratches.
got
Yeah,
claw
the
marks on him.
scratches. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched that episode.
I
That's
did
all-
notice
that's
that
all good.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice that when I was watching it because I was like, "Oh wow, he was scratched that bad." But now I made now I can make that connection, and thank you for clarifying that, Dave. Because every time I see werewolf and sour, because I remember, oh yeah, sour could basically turn into one.
Yeah.
And I do get those kind of mixed up. Like right now, like everything I read on the Silmarillion is kind of crushed into this ball, and now I have to take a piece off of this ball and be like, "Oh yeah, that's right, that's what happened." And so on and so forth.
So you mean you're like one of the Ainur and the Ainulindale looking down into and see it all happening at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a very accurate description.
Oh, whoa, dude, wait till you go read the Lay of Leithian in the Beren and Luthien supplement, where it's got like all the different versions and stuff. Because that part about Beren and my beloved, I'm not saying this, I'm not gonna make myself wasted this early on in the podcast. But it's really cool because the werewolf actually speaks to him. It's kind of metal. It's metal as hell.
I remember when I first read it. I said, "This is a horror scene. Like this is a literal horror scene. Just like, especially like the way I imagined it. It was always after someone put them down there in that dungeon, pit dungeon, whatever they were in.
Yeah.
It was, I just imagine just seeing these glowing eyes down there, and especially with all the all their companions that went with them. And they're just kind of like huddled around in this circle, and they're just seeing this werewolf just go past. And then, because I think I read that somewhere, I think it may have been Tolkien Gateway, that they said that the werewolf could actually speak. And I'm like, this would be probably the most metalist, like craziest horror scene out of like if they ever made it into a film.
Yeah,
So,
I remember that scene.
I can get it ready for it if you want.
You know, the werewolf is snatching elves one by one, and
yes,
and
that's what I saw it.
Till there's only the two of them left, and oh my god!
Oh, I might even have it. I might even have it marked because I think I made a video on Halloween for it. Let's see. Sam, is your stuff working?
I changed my headset.
Oh, I hear you
now.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay. Cool.
Hi.
Okay, I got my Bluetooth speakers in instead. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So welcome to
Tolkien.
Tolkien.
I think these are gone. I think they're
Oh,
dead
no.
because I actually went on Twitch the other day and I don't think it was working. So time for a new headset.
Oh no. Anyways, so welcome to the first live of Tolkien on Tap. This is super impromptu. Thank you for being here. This is really
Thanks
fun.
for inviting me.
Yeah. So everyone, this is our friend Sam. We call her Gloomweaver. That is her username. Sam, why don't you say hi and tell us how you got into Tolkien?
Hi. I got into Tolkien through my mum. I'd seen the book. She'd been reading the books for years and years. I think she started reading them in the 70s. And I just saw them around the house growing up, but just was never really into it. She went and saw Fellowship at the cinema, I think by herself, which is just such a me thing to do. Probably when I'm her age in the future, I'll end up going by myself to see something like that. But then when it came out to video, we borrowed it from the video store from Blockbuster, and as soon as I saw Fellowship, I was like, what have I been missing? This is incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mum played a big influence in getting me into Tolkien. Every time we talk on the phone, because we don't live in the same state, every time we talk on the phone, we end up talking about, I don't know, an article from the Amon Hen or some kind of new connection that she's discovered in the Silmarillion, or that I've discovered. So yeah,
that's dope.
she actually had a above our dining table. She was a calligrapher, or she is a calligrapher, and above our dining table, she had done the Road Goes Ever On and On poem in blue ink and like all these Celtic knots and everything. And so I remember I was reading that poem for years and years, from like the age of about 6 years old, dinner time and lunchtime and stuff. And so when Gandalf comes out in the Fellowship, in the first scene singing that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the poem. So I guess that's my earliest introduction to Tolkien, was actually from the poem.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I hadn't heard that before.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. I like that your mom got you into it. My mom got me into it too.
Yeah.
So because that's either like our families get us into it, or the movies. So far, it seems like I've had one person. We all know Glamdring on TikTok. He's the only person so far that has said it was his friends. Um,
I think Newbetta said that too.
oh, has he?
Yeah, because I remember one of the first lives I joined with him. I asked him how he got into it, and he said somebody
Okay.
from like school like lent him a book about it,
Okay.
which is fascinating. Like I no, and like I think it's awesome that you guys as parents got you guys into it, because like my dad got me into like comics and movies, and like basically like Tolkien is the one nerdy thing that my dad isn't responsible for getting me into. Like everything else, like from comics to movies to like TV and like other forms of like Greek mythology and Norse mythology, my dad got me into. Like I remember when like we were watching Hercules and Xena, and he's like, "Oh, like you like this type of thing?" He checked me out like maybe 10 books from the library or whatever the limit was, and he got me like children's, children appropriate books about Greek mythology from the library about it. And then like, and then with Tolkien, he's like, I never read the books, but like I like this. I like, we'll go watch the movies, and that's how I got hooked on it.
My mom only got me into it in so far as when I was a kid, she got me the Hobbit cartoon, and then I wanted to read the Hobbit book, and she happened to have the box set, which I have right here for those who are watching. It's this really old 70s, actually I think it's a 67 box set.
That's the one with the heraldry on it, right?
Yeah, that's one with the heraldry on it. And then I asked my mom years later, I was like, so how often did you read the books? And my mom was like, I haven't read them once. And I was like, what? Hold on, you have these? Wow. You've never read them? What are you talking about?
Tricked me into reading? What?
Yeah, you tricked me into reading. You indoctrinated me without even knowing what you were indoctrinating me with. Thank you very much.
My mom's now only for the first time starting to read the histories. So she's like
dope,
just getting into that now. So like the next level. So for Christmas, I bought her The Fall of Numenor because
nice.
She was really interested that in knowing that that was a book that had come out a couple of years ago, and because she got super into Rings of Power with me a few months ago when we watched it together. So yeah, she is. I've recommended the ones that I think that she'll like. Like I've told her to get the Book of Lost Tales because I really think she'll enjoy that. But a lot of it she could, like myself, she would just sort of skip over. But yeah, she's that's probably the nerdiest thing she's into, and I'm so thankful for it.
That's awesome. I'm glad you have that connection with your mom. I'm actually really jealous. I wish my parents were kind of into it, but they're always just like, we'll listen, but we don't really care.
Hollywood Video, Sam. That's where I rented my first copy of Fellowship from, was Hollywood Video.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to ask Sam. It's midday in Australia for you, so I assume you're not drinking, correct?
I'm having a coffee.
Okay. So you will be also
Is it an Irish coffee though?
Bill the Ponies. People
could Irish it up.
Are you going to Irish it up?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. I've got no responsibilities for the rest of the day, so I could probably.
No, that's fair.
Don't know where to be.
Listen, if you Irish it up, I have to read you the drinking rules. So you got to let me know, because there are rules.
What are the the drinking rules are.
There's a lot, because there's more episodes there's episodes that haven't come out that have new that have new rules. Would you like to hear them?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let me because I got to get to Zay and this part of when the werewolf talks to Finrod. That's one of them. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna pause real quick for the game, because I'm not gonna get wasted just by reading rules. We drink 4. Finrod Findrato being mentioned, Fingolfin Ñolofinwë being mentioned, Maithros Maitimo Ñolofinwë being mentioned, Fuck Elwë Singolo Syndiculo Elu Thingol being said.
Any form of fuck with Cindy.
I know. I always make sure. I try to get the Sindarin and the Quenya in there just in case.
In any language.
In any language. If Athrobeth is mentioned, yeah. If Athrobeth is mentioned, if Shibboleth is mentioned, if Out of Finwë is mentioned, if we talk about Gandalf loving hobbits, if we talk about this one's going to apply to you because I know this is your favorite, one of your favorite characters. If Faramir is mentioned,
Túrin. Oh,
one,
okay.
that's why I said one
Mhm.
of. I know Túrin is your number one, but you've talked a lot about how much you love Faramir.
Oh
as well.
no.
Oh, Faramir's my
Cat in
number
the
one.
chat is
Oh,
throwing
Faramir's your
names
number
out.
No. This is live. We're not doing that. We're not doing.
Okay.
We're not. Listen, chat. You can do whatever you want. It's when the people on panel do this. I'm not gonna have chat get wasted. And then also, this is a new one. Also for Frodo. When any of those
Okay.
things are said, that's a drink. So if you do Irish up, then that is where we drink for.
I'll just get real jittery instead.
That actually might be just as fun. Go on
Alright.
a crazy tangent, like all jittered up.
Alright,
Start being like
Sam.
Charlie Day in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
drink some more coffee. We'll make you calm down some.
We just see in the back of Sam's, like she pulls out a whiteboard.
The chart.
It's just got like all, it's got like all the red lines and everything.
I
stuck all over the place.
I have as a meme somewhere that the Charlie Day meme with
Yeah.
the elf chart
Yeah,
linked up with the Calaquendi, Morroquendi one.
yeah. Real
If
quick.
before you go back to the book, if I was to add a rule to it, it would be if Túrin or any of his like 15 names are mentioned.
All right, I'm adding
That's
it
fair.
to the list. I'm gonna add it to the list. This is where it's at some point. This is gonna be like when we talk about Tolkien, we drink. Ah, shit. All right. So,
But also Sam, because everyone else has answered already. Favorite elf from the Silmarillion, or just from Tolkien, I guess in general.
It's Laura Findelay. I've thought about it a lot recently, especially with the all in Ñoldo squad. It's Glorfindel, yeah.
is it because of his Quenya name? Because it's so pretty, or the Balrog thing, or just like
No, it's because when I first read Fellowship, that took a really long time to get through the book, and when we get to the part in the flight to the Ford, I was just like, who the hell is this guy?
Mhm.
Where's Arwen? You know? And then he's there
Oh,
at the
yeah.
council,
Yeah, where's Arwen?
and yeah, he's there at the council, and I'm like, okay, you know, he's contributing to all of these discussions and everything. And then it wasn't until I read the Silmarillion and then, you know, saw what happened there and was just like, oh, he is old, and he is like, yeah, and was just with all of the deeds that he did, I was amazed. So yeah, he'd be my favorite.
That's a solid choice. That's a super solid choice.
Choice.
Mhm.
All right, so we were talking about Beren. Hold on, let me get my drink. And Finrod and Tolin Gauroth in the pit.
I'll be right back, just by the way.
Oh, for sure, David. This is Zay from the Lay of Lathian.
Mhm.
It says, I'm going to go up a little bit. And this is where Sauron is Thu, okay?
Mhm.
So this is Finrod talking. It's going to be difficult to do. Ah, Beren hast not learned that promises of Morgoth's folk are frail as breath. From this dark yoke of pain shall neither ever go, whether he learn our names or no, with Thu's consent. Nay, more, I think, yet deeper of torment we should drink. Knew he the son of Barahir and Felagund were captive here, and even worse if he should know the dreadful errand we did go. A devil's laugh they ringing heard within their pit. True the word I hear you speak. A voice then said, "Were little loss if he were dead. The outlaw mortal, but the king, the elf undying, many a thing on no man could suffer may endure. Perchance when what these walls immure of dreadful anguish thy folk learn, their king to ransom they will yearn with gold and gleam and high hearts cowed. Or maybe Caligorm the proud will deem a rival's prison cheap, and crown and gold himself will keep. Perchance the errand I shall know, ere all is done, that ye did go. The wolf is hungry, the hour is nigh. No more need Beren wait to die."
Oh, that's dark. And
Yeah, it's metal as hell.
it's metal, and it's Oh, that is. Oh God, I need this in film form. I need to see this in film form,
Dude, and that's only
I
part of
do.
the lay. There's like so many different versions of the lay. It's so cool. You will really enjoy that book, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it's on the list. It's definitely on the list.
Yeah. Once you once you are done processing the Silmarillion, however long that takes, because I mean, don't get me wrong, like go back and read as many times as you feel you need to. Spend as
Absolutely.
much time in there. And before you do anything else, go read the Lord of the Rings again after you're ready and have processed what you need to from the Silmarillion. Because the Lord of the Rings is different after you read the Silmarillion.
Because you said it, Lee said it, maybe David did say it.
I'm sure David has said it.
Yeah,
too,
he's probably said it. Yeah, that is literally that. Like I have, hold on. Like this is my copy. I've had this book for about 20 years. This is my copy of Fellowship. I plan on breaking.
Oh, I used to have that. I loaned those out to my older cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have to see which book I put it in yesterday.
Yeah,
I
actually,
was.
let me break it out. We go.
Oh, there we go. This is the bookmark that I actually was using yesterday for when I was reading out of damn it, Athrobeth.
Oh,
Nice.
I think
Look
I
who's on
remember
the
that.
back.
You said it. You said it.
What we got?
I know.
Yeah, this is dang it, my background is bleeding through. But yeah, this is my copy of.
You got to put it directly in your face, directly in front of your face.
Oh.
Down a little bit. There you go. We got it.
Oh yeah, this is my copy of Fellowship, and this
Yeah.
is my copy of Two Towers. What actually has Aowen on the front.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think mine did too.
Yeah,
Mine had
I had one with Saruman
on the front.
Yeah, I had the one with Saruman as well.
Oh
And
Yeah.
yeah, that. Yep.
this
Yeah.
Oh,
is-
maybe I had the Saruman one.
So I had the ones from the initial Fellowship release. I remember
did too.
because
I did
my
too.
dad was in the Marines, and so I remember buying it from the exchange, like the Marine base exchange. And
Mhm.
like it was only like all of them were only like the scenes on the cover, like Saruman with the Palantir when he's like that, the
Yeah.
Two Towers.
I
Yeah.
think
And
that's the
then-
one I had.
Return of the King was just Aragorn when he's like, let's hunt some orc, and he's putting like the knife back in
Yeah.
its sheath, and then
Yeah.
Frodo at Rivendell with Sting.
Oh, and then this is my copy of The Hobbit. It's an old hardback.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I've never seen that blue one before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the green screen say it's got to be like basically right in front of your body.
Right.
Like, so here's this book, but if I do this, you can see it.
I want that. I want that red book though.
But back to
Oh,
like
it's just a notebook.
Lays of Balerion, that's kind of adding on to what I was talking about earlier. Like that's the thing too, like even from this past week on the live, like talking about how the lays function kind of the same way that older myths, like in Homer,
Yeah.
the Iliad and the Odyssey, or even like these other older myths function. They name drop these things, kind of like, you know how like the Council of Elrond and Shadows of the Past, they name drop like stuff that happened way in the first age.
Yeah.
Similar, like
Right.
in those lays, they do the same thing. Like they
Yeah.
reference, you know,
Well,
they
Celador
like I
and
think
Cúrifin are in there.
Kilgorm and Crufin are in there, but like I'm thinking of like say the Narn, the children of Húrin,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how like it talks about, I believe it's like, was it Túrin and Beleg's bond to one another. They end up referencing the Feanorian oath
Mhm.
in it,
Oh.
and so like you get that. What's, I don't know.
Well,
the
they talk about
specific-
Nirnaeth too, and they don't say what
Well-
the hell the Nirnaeth is, and that happened
No.
like just before this story.
Right, but that's the thing is like it talks
Actually, it
about
was at the
those
beginning of the
things.
story.
It puts cool. That's kind of the context, because the thing is, I think the Narn is the most like a stage drama you will get, because the way it's set up,
Mhm.
from like how it introduces like basically this is your Húrin, and you're gonna watch the downfall of all your children. So it's like Húrin's almost like that framing device of you as like Húrin's in the audience, like he's up in the balcony
Right.
watching this play unfold.
Oh my
by
god! I would. By the
Morgoth.
way, Húrin might have the worst fate. Maybe not
Yeah.
fate, because like he's not, but like the things he has to endure, and he's not
Yeah.
like he is so psychologically tortured to watch your children go through that.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Oh.
he did. I mean, just when it comes to Horan, yeah, you're watching your whole literally every event happen in that order, and then having Morgoth just have you just magically sealed to the chair. That is a fate. To me, that is a face worse than death. Especially watching the downfall of seeing your daughter. Like I can't imagine what he would have thought when he saw his daughter literally
Yeah.
jump into a river and you can never find her body. Like
Right.
especially to find out that her husband is
Yeah.
literally your brother,
But
and
yeah,
you had to see.
but
Oh,
Húrin
God.
might be the most that guy out of anybody in the entire Legendarium, at least of the men, because
Yeah.
like Morgoth, like
Because he
he
endured
just
it.
is like fuck you to Morgoth so much. He just
Oh,
doesn't
he's
give
like-
a fuck.
He's like, yeah, but that's the tragedy of it, because like he endures sitting in the chair, and then like he ends up succumbing
Yeah,
when he goes to like the mountains on the Linde. Like, but I don't blame him. Like, I
Right.
don't like. Obviously, it's like one of those things. Like, yeah, it's unwise for him to do that after being captured there, but at the same time, like, he literally was brought to the very brink of
Mhm.
what, like, I don't think any other human being could possibly do. Maybe Baron, because Baron probably wandering through Nandan Gorthred is probably the closest
yeah.
that
I can
any
see
other
that.
human has ever come to like enduring the things that Húrin would have been subjected to.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Húrin is just I kind of just want to see the interaction of it's like on that mound. He takes him up. Morgoth takes Húrin up to that mound, right?
It's like the highest
Um,
peak or whatever.
Yeah. And he's like showing him some shit, and he's just like, "Listen, man, I'm gonna fuck you up." And Húrin's like, "I dare you." And Melkor's like, "Don't make me do it." And Húrin's like, "You fucking won't." And Morgoth's like, "I promise I will." And Húrin's just like, "Fucking then do
Bet.
it, bitch."
Bet.
Yeah, seriously. Like he's just like that guy so hard, and I love that so much about Húrin.
Well,
And then
that's
like
the-
everything goes wrong.
And that's the thing, like even from the near knife, it's just like the scene that will always like, and I want to get it tattooed on me because it's so fucking badass. Like when he's swinging the axe, and it says that like he has orc limbs still like
Yeah,
grappled onto his arms from him
Yeah.
swinging it,
yeah.
and it's like, god damn, man, like,
Dude. And that's
like,
the
it's
thing
not-
people don't understand
It's
about
not only his,
Tolkien.
it's not only his physical strength, but just like his mental and like
Not just that,
strength
Húrin is a little man. Húrin
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not like the big Hador. Because Hador
Yeah.
is huge as fuck. Húrin is a little boy. He ain't tall. Like, listen, I'm 5'7". Húrin's maybe around my height. Like, he's not like 6'4" Hador, you know, or Huor, Húrin's brother. But yeah, Húrin's just a fucking badass. He really is. I love that character so much. And he's only in like such a small part.
And the
Of,
thing, and the other cool thing too is like, I mean, talking about, I mean, kind of doing the comparison. I mean, slight comparison to like Baron and Luthien. Also, like
Mhm.
he marries Morwen, who is just as like strong of like a partner too, and like,
Yeah.
and I like that,
Yeah.
especially like because of all the incel, you know, fucking man child bullshit you get within some Tolkien spaces, as far as like you have like this man who's of like, you know, very strong mental and physical strength, and he marries someone who's also just as strong. Like it's not about like
Mhm.
subjugation or anything like that, and she's
Yeah.
just as strong as he is when it comes to those things. Like I like that a lot in how Tolkien frames that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Morwen's a fucking badass too. Like she knows what the fuck she wants, and she doesn't fucking bend.
Like
to
other
anything
like
else.
Yeah.
like other motherfuckers fear her too because
Yeah.
of like how her strength of it. Like yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Of
mean,
what-
even,
of what
even
she-
goes to her name.
Of what she had to endure just
Yeah.
during all of that. I'm just like, you are a special type of woman.
Yeah.
And I see
I
why-
actually, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Zay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, yeah, when it comes to Morwen, like when I was reading, especially of what, you know, the account of Túrin, and, you know, especially what was going on with her kids, and especially after what happened to Húrin, her thinking he was dead all this time. And then by the time you get to the end of her story, she just lets go. She held on for that long. And I'm just like, yo, like this was a special, like a character, like it's someone that can match Húrin in a way. And because I
Mhm.
noticed that too when I first read it, and I was like, okay. I'm like I liked how Tolkien wrote both characters to be strong in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, but yeah, that's really what I noticed on my first read.
Yeah, I want to specifically hear from Sam on this because I know Sam loves the character of Túrin. I know she really likes Morrowind. So
Be right back.
I kind of, yeah, for sure. Say, I just want to hear Sam's perspective. I've never actually talked to Sam about this, and I'm really interested.
Like anything specific or just my
Just kind of like what we were talking
in
about. Just
general?
like any of your feelings
Yeah.
about the entirety of all the stuff we were just talking about.
Yeah, there's like a really, really deeply personal connection that I have to Turin. And maybe if this was offline, like I'd maybe share it, but
Oh,
probably not, probably not
you
here.
don't have to get, yeah, you don't have to get
No, no, no. It's something that like I only made the connection like a few years ago, and it kind of blew my mind. And I was just like, wow, this makes so much sense as to why I was always drawn to that story. I think from like a nostalgia point of view, the Children of Húrin is specifically the text that's in Unfinished Tales was the first thing that I read outside of the Lord of the Rings. So I read the Third Age tales within Unfinished Tales. So, you know, the stuff on Galadriel and Celeborn and then I read The Children of Húrin, and I didn't know it was actually connected to the Legendarium on my first read, if I'm to be completely honest. And it wasn't until reading the Silmarillion, it was like, oh, it's that guy again. Yeah, more I love Morwen as well. Her entire tale like shatters my heart. In fact, my Lotro character is kind of based off Morwen a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, you guys kind of nailed what you're all saying, but yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack in those characters.
Yeah, and I know that especially when I go like do TikTok lives, I give Túrin a lot of shit, and I don't hate that character whatsoever. He's an insanely tragic character. I like to joke around about him because of the bridge thing, and I know that's really Autodress fault.
No, I get it.
But yeah, no,
But
I don't.
I think
I don't
like
hate his character.
you can also like find the almost like the dark humor in the layers of tragedy that there are, you know, like and Húrin's story is so tragic as well, and like everything that he went through.
Yeah. And going from the Silmarillion, having read that because I did it backwards that from you. I read the Silmarillion first, and then I like years and years and years later I read the Narn. And when I read the Narn, I was like, holy shit, this is the saddest story I've ever read in my life. It is tragedy after tragedy after tragedy after it does. There's not a happy thing. Like none of them experience happiness, except for, like they'll have like a small fleeting, but like in the back of your head, like this isn't because it's the when he's with his sister, they're like, you shouldn't be doing this. This is gross. So like even like his happiness in the story, the readers are like, fucking stop it, fucking stop it. So there's nothing happy about it.
The stuff that's in Narn is the stuff that you don't get in the Silmarillion is Túrin's upbringing and the like the passion, the compassion and the pity that he shows to Labadal. Is just
Sador.
that those beautiful connections just warm my heart and I'm like, how could anyone hate this guy? Like he's so kind and caring, and he wants to do the best from such a young age. And
even to the extent
I wish that was woven into the film. No. What did you say?
No, I was just gonna add to with Sador Labathal. It's like you even see parts of it with Meme too. Like he shows pity to Meme. Like
well, and that woman that he stops the outlaws from messing with. I think they're gonna kill her. I can't remember. And he stops them and like lets her go home.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, he like threatens to kill his own people for
he
her.
Would probably, I mean, other than in it's kind of funny, he would probably if just say that the second prophecy wasn't ever written down. We know that Túrin comes face to face with Morgoth and that's how he's defeated. But just say that we didn't know any of that. In my mind, if Túrin came across Morgoth, he would pity him and he wouldn't do anything. Like he just pities everyone. I don't know.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. the Narn made me completely rearrange or reevaluate how I saw that character, because he is incredibly compassionate, and also it's just so sad.
I'm
His
gonna have to
sister
go back.
dies when he's like 5. Like,
Yeah.
it's the saddest thing in the world. His little sister, who's
Mhm.
like, what is she, like 3 or some shit? Maybe he's 8
Yeah.
and she's 5.
Is it Lalith?
Yeah, Lilith.
The
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that killed
What's
me.
her? Erwin? Is that her name?
Hold on. I've got
I
the Narn
forget.
here.
Why am I forgetting that?
I don't know. I've got the Narn right here. I'll figure it
Yeah.
out. Talk about something else while I look it up, because it's weird when we don't
The
talk.
tale.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I read the. Well, I think I read it pretty quickly, but I need to go back through it because I took lots of notes. But I read the Tale of Culliver late last year, and
Mm.
that also just made me that solidified any opinion that I had of Túrin already. Yeah,
What
Yeah,
was the name
a
of
lot
it?
of messed
Udwin.
up stuff happened.
It is Udwin. Yes, Kaya. It is
Ur-
wild nerds.
Urwin.
Wait,
Kaya,
what? Wait,
welcome to
what?
the first live Tolkien on Tap. This was completely unplanned. I just started doing it. So there is,
What
if you go
was-
further up in the chat, there is a link if you want to come in.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. What was Sam? What is that name? The Tale of what?
The Tale of Culliver. Tolkien did it. It's a portion of the Finnish. Is it Finnish?
Kalevala. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Kalevala.
Kalevala, a Finnish mythology, and it's one of Tolkien's earliest translations, and it basically inspired the character of Túrin Turambar. And even like, I'll go get it because I took heaps of notes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's like the proto Turin Turambar. So like
Yeah.
Tolkien was obsessed with the Kalevala, like the history of the Kalevala being written and just like its place within history as far as like this type of national epic myth. It very much is inspired Tolkien's earliest writings, and he attached himself to the tale of Kullervo, which then evolved and morphed into Turin Turambar.
Right.
Oh wow.
And that, David, is what the lecture that Verlin Flieger was giving that I was watching. That's what she talks about, that whole story and that comparison.
Oh, nice. I still actually need to read the Tale of Kullervo. I still have not read it yet.
Dude, I haven't
What was
either,
that
and
I
I
have-
know
I have it,
know
but
I
I've
need
not
to
read it.
so badly. I'm sorry, Sam. What'd you say?
I was reading, what did Dinopark Dan just say?
Oh, there's on YouTube, there's a lecture. It's on Signum's channel, Verlin Flieger talking about Kullervo and
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Cool.
Really fascinating.
Yeah, I haven't read that. I know I need to. I've read Beowulf though, so I've done something at least.
I'll definitely add
Yeah.
that to my list.
I've read
Yeah.
Beowulf, but that was a long time ago. and it
Yeah,
wasn't
it's been a while
Tolkien
since I've read
translation.
Beowulf too. There's a, what's the other one? There's the
Scarlet
prose.
Spell?
Is it the prose that where all the dwarf
The
names
Edda.
come from in the Hobbit? Yeah, the Edda.
Yeah, there's the prose and poetic Edda
I gotta see
by
if my
Snorri
gotta-
Sturluson.
I gotta see if my translation of Beowulf also has that in it, because I can't
If-
remember, because I've read it before.
If you look for a good prose Edda translation, do Jesse Byock or Jesse Byock. I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay.
Byock. Basically, if you're looking for any like solid, both academic as well as accessibly academic like type of work on Norse mythology, Jesse Byock is one of the best. He's great at, how do I put it? He's great at bringing the academia to just like, if you're just a common reader, if you're not involved in any type of academic, scholarship debates, he's great at presenting the information to you. I highly recommend. He's a PhD Department of like Old Icelandic Studies at UCLA. Absolutely phenomenal. Like I can't recommend his stuff enough, and his translations are just so rich and still so easy to get through. So Prose Edda, the Saga of King Hrafn, which Beorn is very much based off of in The Hobbit, as well as he did some of the he did the translation of the Saga of the Volsungs, which the Sigurd and Gudrun that Tolkien translated is also inspired by, and some translations in this big thick tome of was it the Icelandic sagas or whatever. It's like this very thick book, this very thick book that he did some translations for too.
Okay.
Excellent.
I used to have the prose and the poetic in a single volume. I don't know where they went, because I remember reading those names from The Hobbit in there, and I was like, oh my god, Tolkien not plagiarized, because it's hard to plagiarize things when he just reused whatever. I guess it's a literary thing. Whatever. I mean, fucking all art does it. Doesn't matter.
Well, it's mythology. Nobody owns it.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So, what were you just looking something up, Sam? Is that what you were doing?
It was just things like because it ends pretty abruptly. It was the translation. Tolkien never actually finished it. There's just like a bunch of notes, but even things like there's the name of there's so many names in this book. It's really confusing. And multiple names for the same thing as well. That even the Great Land is translated to Kemenume. So, like Yavanna Kementari. So Kemen, Ilu is the god. I can't find the name of the I guess the evil spirit, but it's very similar to Utumno. So there's so many connections there.
Like
the sword, yeah, the weapon that Kulavo inherits is also kind of sentient as well and speaks to him right before his death. It's one of the final notes. But
do you believe that the sword was speaking to him, or do you believe that Túrin was going crazy at the end?
I think he was going crazy, but because of the inspiration from the mythology, I could go either way.
I mean, like, how do you personally interpret it?
I think he was crazy.
Okay,
He'd
David?
gone through a lot.
Oh, I think he was speaking to him.
Oh, you think it was speaking to him?
Yeah, I don't mind either interpretation.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking to gauge, not gauge, but like just see what how everyone viewed it.
Based off of what Sam was saying, like given the other like mythologies and other like legends that we have of talking swords, it tracks that, and also like the whole spirit of the creator of the sword was like somehow imbued in it. I can believe that.
Yeah. Dan?
I think it maybe could have been a little bit of both. I don't know how you could get to where he was and still be completely sane, but at the same time,
yeah.
But at the same time, the elements are there.
Zay?
Oh, absolutely. He was losing his mind. You go from in a fit of confusion, killing your best friend, to being responsible for the downfall of one of the last big, the last elven cities at this time. And
pour one out for Not Across the Rondo right now.
Yeah, like you're responsible for that, and then also you failed to rescue who was that?
Finduilas.
Finduilas, yeah.
See me grabbing my drink, like which one are we doing?
I know, I couldn't remember her name. Maybe it was Finn, but I couldn't go farther than that.
I mean, to be fair, that's close for any elven or Tolkien elven. It has Finn
in the first age for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like so many F's to give, but
that's why nobody has any more F's to give. Tolkien gave them all.
Tolkien gave them all, man. But yeah, especially the fact that you got there too late because you took a detour, and now Finduilas wound up dying because of you. Because you had to take a detour to make sure your mother and your sister are okay, who were in Doriath at this point in time. I mean, it was like you were bound to go mad from everything that's happened. you were bound. Like it was bound to happen. By the time you get to what happens with Niniel, it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm out of my mind. Like you have to be, because that's the thing that really sticks out to me in that story. You've seen your sister. Everybody has a like, wait a minute, I know you. How do I know you? Type of moment when you know, like, especially when you know someone. I mean, you knew your sister, and you get to the point now, oh, all of a sudden I don't necessarily remember who my sister is, and I wound up marrying my sister. And I'm like, you had to look at this woman down to fall in love with her and know that none of the signs went off. And that's the part that really kind of confuses me. I'm like, and then it really kind of makes me think, oh yeah, you're like out of it at this point. You're there's no coming back for you at this. And then everything that happened following, especially that led to you offering yourself. But yeah, of course. Like
we're not on TikTok. You can say killing. I know we're all used to that because all five of us like met through TikTok.
Yeah.
But we were allowed to say kill and suicide and shit like that because
it was just the so much guilt has to weigh you down. It has, yeah, from your death of your friend to the end of the city, which was your fault, to
partially. Listen, as someone who constantly would give Túrin shit about that, it's partially his fault. It's also mostly Orodreth, who's thousands of fucking years old at this point.
Yeah, don't even get me started on Orodreth. Because I'm like, why in the hell would you let him build a bridge?
So that's one of the funniest things when
and that's
it's
the second
about...
fucking kingdom, not kingdom, but like second fortress that fucking Orodreth lost,
yeah.
Finrod.
It's like Finrod comes. It's like, oh yeah, I need you to hold I need you to hold Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Oh,
shit.
Sorry, but I got some
fair.
bad news.
That one's fair. That's Sauron.
I lost
That's
it.
Sauron. That's fair.
Sauron. But also a fun part is actually a funny note is that actually Tolkien and Ñolofinwë actually rescue him.
Yeah, that is true.
In the War of the Druids, they actually rescue his Roar of the Druids. We're at that point.
Oh, no.
Yes, David.
It's kicking in. It's kicking in.
This is such an amazing first live broadcast of Tolkien on Tap that wasn't even planned to have.
In War of the Druids, they actually save him, which actually doesn't form later on when like they take over Narcosta because technically he's in their debt.
Yeah. Damn.
So they could technically leverage that as far as like, hey, like, we saved you. Like we asked for no payment outside of like this.
Oh, so they're those assholes who hold shit over your head. Got it. Fair.
No, I mean
they are Feanorians.
No, I mean it's going back to whole vassalage, vassal and suzerain type thing.
Right.
You like as far as like when like going back to antiquity, like when you save either if you're in trouble.
No, but see, fuck them because they're the ones who fucking told everyone else in Narcosta that not to drink. By the way, not to fucking follow Finderato. Fuck Celegorm Ñolofinwë.
I'm not saying that they're
like how I got Sindarin on one and Quenya on the other one.
I'm not saying that they're morally right. I'm not saying that they're morally correct. I'm just saying as far as within the scheme of how like their political systems are set up, as far as vassals and like suzerains, it would be within like their like if we're going off of that system, which seems to be the case, especially given with the Adine. It's very likely that they were kind of calling in that like, hey, like we risked our lives to save you type of thing. And so we're calling that in right now type of thing, which again, it's not morally correct that they choose it to,
not at all
to do that. But
because it's almost like they save Orodreth and they see an opportunity for them to, Jesus Christ, it tracks so hard, David. Hold on.
But that's also before the oath is activated. It's also before the oath is activated.
Let me do this.
So it's not that they're doing it ulterior motives.
Let me do this. No. Listen, I'm also at that point too, Dave. All right. They save Orodreth, right? And they're like, all right, so we've got this, like, he's indebted, but also drink Finderato's still around. And of the House of Ñolofinwë.
God damn it, man.
He's the boss of that house, right? So when Bedan comes to my beloved's Badger Hole, Celegorm and Ñolofinwë understand what's going on, and they go, wait a minute. this is gonna help us in our coup. We're gonna make sure that nobody follows the Badger, because they probably did call him fucking Falcundu or whatever the fuck at that point.
I mean, they're the ones who, in
They're
one
probably the
story, gave them
assholes
the
who were saying
names.
it derisively. Everyone else probably said it like tongue in cheek, like he's our cute
No,
cousin.
because that's not. No, because they actually, because Finderato himself even says that their time in Notacasarondo before Baron arrives and reveals like his mission, he says
Yeah,
that
that's true. That's true.
they've only shown him respect and they've actually helped him more
To
than
his
anything
face.
else. Yeah,
To his face.
I don't
Telegram
think
and
so.
Kudafin, man.
Because the thing is, when Finderato's out, when he first encounters men, he's out riding basically with like Maitimo and the Feanorians.
Oh Jesus, this is getting dangerous, David.
Yeah, y'all okay. Y'all are gonna be wild. Y'all are gonna be fucked up before the end of the night.
But that's the
Good thing I don't have work in the morning.
But that's what I was saying. As far as like, I don't think that they were intentionally like. I don't think when they saved what's his? I always forget. Ataresto, I think is Orodresquinian name. I can't remember. I
think you're right. I think you're right.
When they save him, they don't have in mind, oh, we're gonna use this as leverage, call in a favor type of thing. It's more of like, oh yeah, like we're out here hunting. Like that's the thing. That's what we do. We hunt wolves. Like we're out hunting. Like that's Torokomo's like whole thing is, no, I'm out here engaging with wildlife and like we'll hunt the Sauron's wolves. And that's what Finderato even says. Like they've done nothing but show me respect, and like protect the borders of this land and all that. So, but it's not until, I mean, that's how Tolkien describes it. The oath is something that gets awakened. As soon as Baron shows up and reveals, I'm going after those jewels, he's like, okay.
Wait, David, why is he going after the jewels?
So that he can marry Luthien.
Who gave him the mission?
Fuck away Sindicolo. That's
there we go. I like how everyone's been laughing, by the way. Me and David are the only ones having drinks.
I gotta get my third drink now, man.
I ran.
I'm on my fourth. I consistently see Sam over there just like smirking every time one of us is like, shit, damn it, fuck. We have to take a drink because we're both like, we're talking about like all of them in succession. I feel like I'm slurry. So I'm sorry if that's happening. Where were we? I lost track.
So fuck. Something
Dark Side.
Cormo could have
it was dealing with what is that? Orodreth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the vassalage this and Susanry.
Right.
Suzerainary. I don't remember.
Susan T is the correct one. You had it right the first time.
I said suzerainary. I'm just making up words.
Suzerainary.
Woo! Welcome, guys.
Yeah.
But no, when Tolkien talks about it, he talks about the oath he gets awakened. So like it's sleep, it's dormant. And just like how like at the end of like when Luthien has the Silmaril, like no one dares to go and assault her or attack her.
Right.
When she has it. Because the oath is like asleep, but it's once it gets started. And so it's when Baron mentions like, oh, okay, and Tolkormo and Ñolofinwë are like, and what happens once you get it? Like, are you gonna give it to us, or are you gonna keep it for yourself? Like, because
I kind of want like a, you know what we should do? We should make like a modern take on how we would react in these situations, like how we would see people doing this shit. Like kind of what you just did, David, and what happens when you get it, like
and
like
yes, and
yeah. I think that would be hilarious actually if we did that.
I literally look at the Oath of Feanor now just being like the bat signal. Like every time that thing goes up, it's just like we got to go out. We got to go out here and just crash out on everybody. That's how I view it now. Like especially after completing the Silmarillion now, as and the fate of all the sons of Fenway. I mean Feanor. That's sons of Feanor. My bad. Drink.
I mean, Feanor's name's also Fenway. It's fine.
Yeah, but I look at it now. It's like every time that thing is activated, it's like you gotta crash out in some type of way to go get a Silmaril. I mean, it's like that really is like if they ever did make that story into like a film, you have to use that as a driving force. A driving force every time the Sons of Finwë are mentioned. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because that's the thing, it very much is, and it's like the tragic aspect of it, especially when you get to like Maitimo, Maithros, and
yes.
like
I just read
Maglor,
that yesterday.
Makalaure, like because like, and I know I mentioned it in the first podcast.
David,
or
I didn't see you drink for Maitimo. Thank you, David.
The thing is, it reminds me, at least for those two, of like kind of. I remember one of the first times when I joined Threads. I forget if it was Lee or somebody else was talking about the oath, and it hit me so hard because it reminds me. I mean, I have, people who are close to me who have struggled with addiction.
Yeah.
And the way that it's mentioned, it's like, especially with those who's like, oh God, like, yeah, like, because like I don't want, because that's the hard part, because with people who struggle with addiction, is that like you don't want addiction to be your defining characteristic.
Yeah.
Right.
And so with Maitimo and Makalaure, it's like, yeah, what they did was horrible. Like, it's not good. But at the same time,
you mentioned him again.
I know. But at the same time, like, there is that space for their like repentance and then like wanting to change and do better, but for the life of them they can't.
Yeah.
Because it's so deep seated, and it's like, fuck, like it's great character like writing, but it also is like, fuck, that it's very deeply and very too close to home at times. Like,
yeah. Because I felt so bad for them in the end. I'm like, especially because it took Maitimo, Maitimo to try to convince.
That's twice. Why you gotta do it twice?
My bad, y'all. Yeah, you made the rules of this game. I'm trying to do my best not to get y'all so super drunk.
You're double saying shit over here, Zay.
My bad. The redheaded one. That's what I'm saying. the redheaded one.
Wait, is Rusa all on that list?
Is Ambarusa? Right, exactly.
Well, when he, the redheaded one, was trying to talk to was trying to convince Maglor, and then Maglor broke down. I like when you said addiction, I was like, I don't even think I thought of it that way, because it's like he was trying to pull Maglor back in and be like, okay, no, we can, even though we got was able to get it. It's like this is our what is the word for it? Our bane, I would say. No, I don't think it would be bane. But what I'm trying to say is that the fact that the redheaded one would actually have to. I'm trying to do this to save y'all, okay?
We're in dangerous territory talking about first age.
Yeah, just I felt like, I'll just say it like this. I felt bad that at the end they couldn't let it go, and it was their downfall, and they tried to change it. I know that really does bring in a lot of even stories of today. Like, some people definitely don't make it past their addiction, and now when you just mentioning that, I'm sitting here connecting the dots. Like, oh wow, like what did Tolkien see with these characters that made him go like, okay, this is like this addiction can drive people into these certain fits and frenzies and stuff like that. And every time I kept reading the Silmarillion, I kept going back to, what did Tolkien see like to make him like write these characters these certain ways? Because there had to be something that he either experienced at maybe at home or in the battlefield when he was writing these stories. Like, what did you see, or what in your personal life really kind of, pulled this out?
I don't know for sure, but I know. So I don't know for sure if this is whose experience and whose writing he was drawing from, but I know he was influenced by a Catholic poet who battled with opiate addiction his entire life, by the name of Francis Thompson. And I'm not, again, I can't say definitively whether or not it is the, what influenced, the Oath of Feanor and Mighty Mo and, Makalaure and all that. I know, sorry.
David.
but that,
the rules. You're doing this on purpose.
but that is a figure that I have thought about, as far as like I wondered if that's part of that influence, as far as that, and even if it's not, like, say, even if we had words of Tolkien saying like it's not influenced by him at all, I think that parallel is still there. I think it's still I think it's still a valid way to read and understand that, because it helps us to better have, again, not excuse the negative side of people who have struggled with addiction, but also to be able to engage with, because again, I people who are very dear and close to me have struggled with addiction pretty much my whole life, and so I think it's one of those things where it's the more that it's kept in the hidden and in the dark, that it tends to breed and fester and makes it more potently toxic than if it is lights that shed on. So again, if you are struggling, please don't feel afraid to and this is for a general audience because I know we're on live on YouTube, but if you do battle with that, please talk to your loved ones and the people who are able to understand and listen to it, because I think that's very helpful. And if you're somebody who knows people who battle with addiction, please be very sympathetic and empathetic to them, because the guilt that people with addiction struggle with is very, very deep, to where it only does fester and breed if they're not allowed to talk about it in an open way.
That's very true. And just to add to that, not necessarily to add to that, but there is a crisis helpline. It is just at least in the US, I don't know if it's everywhere else, but you can call 988 if you are in crisis or having suicidal thoughts. I'm actually really glad you brought that up, Dave, because it's really important. And I kind of feel like with the Jackson films, it was almost, I don't know if I want to say the word jokey, but it felt like they were playing up addiction for the ring.
I mean, yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, it's almost, and I don't want to say it was, I don't think it was malicious or anything like that, but I mean the treatment of Gollum. It's just such a whole sticky situation, because
even
it's one way to look at it, but that's not. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you bring up that letter where it talks about Gollum would have fully repented, right?
Yeah.
If Sam had not turned on him,
right?
That's kind of a great thing as far as the way and again, I get it as if people who when you've been hurt by somebody relapsing, someone close to you relapsing, and then I can understand the kind of frustration, right, that someone like a Sam would feel, but at the same time, that kind of piling on the guilt that they already feel, or the piling on that type of shame that's already there when they're coming down, when someone's coming down from that, it doesn't help. It can only further someone go back to that. It's well, you already see me as an addict either way, so I might as well just play the role of it, continue in this, because that's all you're gonna ever see me as anyway,
right?
What type of thing. So
yeah. That's an amazing note, by the way. For those who haven't read it, I believe that's 246. Let me double check real quick. I could almost guarantee you I have it bookmarked. Ooh, that actually might be something else. That might be the for Frodo stuff. Yeah, that's 191. Let me look at 246, because I think that's 246 where he talks about. Oh, weird. My book just automatically opens to that because I go to that note quite a bit. No, it really does. I look this note up a lot because it's a long note, first of all. Excuse me. And there's just a lot that happens in it. Yeah, it's right here. I don't know which he's talking about here. He plainly did not fully understand. Okay, so he is Sam they're talking about. He plainly did not fully understand Frodo's motives or his distress in the incident of the Forbidden Pool. If he had understood better, he was what he was going. I'm sorry. If he had understood better what was going on between Frodo and Gollum, things might have turned out differently in the end. For me, Tolkien, perhaps the most tragic moment is in the tale comes in page 200 I'm sorry, 323. I don't know what FF stands for. I have to learn these shorthand.
FF is following.
Oh, thank you.
Like the lowercase FF is following.
Yes. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, David. When Sam fails to note the complete change in Gollum's tone and aspect, quote, nothing, end quote, says Gollum softly, quote, nice master, end quote. His repentance is blighted, and all Frodo's pity is, parenthetical, in a sense, and parenthetical, wasted. Shelob's lair becomes inevitable. He goes on to say later that this was written in 1963, by the way. So, would it be like 9 years after Return of the King came out? Excuse me.
Around that time, yeah. That's
Yeah, 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
He does go on to say that Gollum, had Sam not done that, Gollum would have thrown himself in with the ring to save Frodo. So yeah, that's a good point that you bring up, David.
I'm gonna have to go back and read the letters because that now changes my whole view of that moment. Like, of course, I've seen it in the movies like a dozen times, but now just to find out that was a crucial moment, and that could have changed everything. That God, and you said that was in the letters of Tolkien.
Yes, it's letter 246.
Oh, I gotta go read that.
Real quick, so we're live on YouTube as well. There is a Finderato in the chat, drink. And I just in all capitals wrote I love you.
Is that another Jeff Burner?
It could be a Jeff Burner.
Possibly.
It could be.
I'm pretty sure Finderato was it Lord of Valariande, Mighty Mo one. I'm pretty sure all of those are Jeff Burner accounts on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, you did. What are you sipping on now, Dave?
TikTok?
Wait, what did you say?
I was wondering if it's the same Finderato from TikTok.
That's what I'm assuming. To be honest, probably. I'm drinking a Pilsner.
Sam, you doing that on purpose?
No.
You're drinking a Pilsner out of a shot glass, David?
No, it's just like one of those like sampler cups because it's a bottle.
Oh, do you have like a little wash glass?
Yeah. So it's like, so this is the bottle. And so usually like beer, it's one of those things where like when you drink beer, like, because this is a craft beer, usually you should drink it from like a glass so that you can like, it's kind of like wine in that sense. You get the, God damn, it sounds super fucking pretentious. Oh my God. But you get like, you get more of the flavor. You get because the scent and the smell is part of the the olfactory aspects of it is part of the flavor of like tasting beer.
I got you. We are probably going to end in just a minute here, just because it is for everyone except for the Australian. Sam, we are on Sunday evening. Sam lives in the future. Yeah, Sam lives in the future, so it's Monday afternoon for her at time of recording. So before we go, we just got news of season 3. We just got confirmation, of season 3 returning for Rings of Power. All of us on here, I guess we'll call it the panel, enjoy Rings of Power. I want to know one thing you wish to see and or one thing you're excited for. And I would like to start with Zay, because this is technically your episode. We kind of like took it over and turned it into a live. So
it's okay. I'll be back for more.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Okay, one thing I wish to see. God, dog, there's so much.
Narrow it down, buddy. Narrow it down.
God, dog. Okay, well, what I wish to see for season 3.
You can say so there's two things. You can say what you wish to see and what you're excited for, because they've announced things that they're gonna do. I mean, kind of.
Well, okay. I'll actually combine them, because it's really got to do much with Numenor. Because I felt like Numenor last season got shafted a lot, and I felt like, and I even went into during season 2, I actually went into like a whole discussion that I wish they would have just made Numenor an entirely separate series because like I said earlier, I'm going through the Alcalabeth, and there's so much history, especially when it comes to their relationship with the Valar and how the seeds of resistance against the Valar is starting to take shape, and especially now in the point where we are in the Rings of Power, it's at its height. And I'm kind of like, I want to see more of that because I know we did get a scene between Kemen and Ar-Pharazôn in season 2 discussing that, and that's what really made me like really kind of said was the deciding factor for me. Okay, I need to break out to Silmarillion because I wanted to know more about Numenor because I knew it was based off, I knew about Eärendil a little bit, and especially what happened after the War of Wrath, but I wanted to go more into the history of that. And I really do hope they put more Numenor in front of us because now that we're getting into like the literal last 3 seasons, it's going to, well, at least the next 2 seasons at least, their storyline is so important to what's going to happen. Especially when it comes to Sauron and how that they're going back and forth is going to be. Like, I really hope we get more scenes because it's captivating. It's kind of like a Game of Thrones to me, in a way of how the politics and everything works between the faithful and the Kingsmen. Like, I want to see more of that because when it really hits the fan, like probably end of season 3, season 4, I want them to go full, like completely into that storyline and even show us the darkest parts of that storyline. But yeah, I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but yeah.
No. And I really love that answer for a couple of reasons. But the biggest reason I love that answer is because you hit something on the head that a lot of us who have read a decent amount beforehand have been saying. And like listen, before Rings of Power, I had read like 4, 5 of like the books, and like 2 or 3 of them were outside of like the main stories. So like, but like for the people who have like read so much stuff, like you're saying things that excites the rest of us, and that is, it's bringing people to more of Tolkien. It's bringing people to the greater legendarium that is outside of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. There's so much more to explore, and you just hit the nail on the head on why Rings of Power is important. And also they're doing some good things. Like, yeah, there's missteps, but like there's also missteps in Peter Jackson. So
absolutely.
I really I'm also really excited for Numenor stuff.
Like I never knew how important it was because just like this would be a whole separate tangent. We'll probably have to talk about it another time because I never I kind of understand why the revolt is happening. I'm like, I understand it. And I mean, and I think it was KB who told me before, well, knew better for anybody who doesn't know. Like he said, like, you're going to see things in this chapter in the Alcalabeth that makes you go like, are the Numenorians right or are they wrong? And I'm like, no, they're right. Because how are you going to put? Here I go. How are you going to put an isle for them near to where the keenest eye can actually see Valinor from a distance, and you expect them to be satisfied with just living? Yes, they have extended lives, but you guys get to live forever, and your fates are tied to the fate of the world. Yeah. So you expect them to be satisfied with the little that you gave them.
Wait, are they right though, Zay?
I mean, I feel like they are at this point, but the way that
are they right? Because aren't they? When spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1 for anyone who hasn't read the book, read the book. I'm sorry. They're doing human sacrifices. Are they right? To Morgoth, mind you. To Morgoth, mind you.
Okay, yeah, that point. Okay, that I understand. Like, okay,
sorry, I got really loud.
Okay, that I get. You guys, it took a dark turn, but even before all of that happened,
that seems like minimization. That took a dark turn. It took a fucking super dark turn, man.
Yeah.
That's back to Arrested Development, David. Slight treason.
I mean, yes. I'm like, okay, yeah. When it got to that part, when I because I looked that up before I read the Alcalabeth, and I'm like, okay, now y'all just took it too far. I'm like, especially when how Sauron got involved in that mix. But when it comes to like, especially what happened years before, and when they were actually questioning it, I'm like, I can understand why they're kind of confused. Why they're confused, like you're just saying, oh, because the Luvatar Taj like has a different fate for you all. We're tied to the to the world as long as Arda exists, and I'm like you think you're giving them answers, but you're not giving them like the answer. And
God
it's like,
told us that we're gonna live forever, and God told us that you guys are doomed to die.
And then it was like they tried to play it off, and I was like, okay, I see why this is happening now. I'm like, I'm kind of a little bit in the Numenorians corner, because I'm like, you guys get to be tied to the fate of this world, but yet we get to die out at least after like what 300-400
when
years.
You're saying, I don't know, because you don't give a caveat for like the faithful. You're just saying Numenorians.
Okay, all right,
like,
the faithful.
That
okay.
includes the Kingsmen, and the Kingsmen kill human beings to sacrifice for Morgoth.
Okay,
all right. Weird to me.
No, but what he's saying is like the building up to it, because before
fair,
because you do have like the line of the kings. Was it the 13th king where or even is it before the 13th king?
Minastir?
Because there's the king where there's a certain point in the kingship where they stop relinquishing the crown.
That's Minastir, isn't it?
Are
we all gonna do the thing where we grab our books and try to figure it out?
Isn't Minastir Elrose? Because Minya is like,
isn't there another one though?
It's I think Minastir. I think maybe I forget.
Is it Minastir the one who goes over?
I always get them mixed up because their names sound familiar. But there's a line in the kingship where it's like one stops, because there's a tradition where like the king will relinquish the crown and give it to the heir apparent, right? Because they know that their time is coming and they're satisfied. They'll give up their time to die. But there's a certain point where the kings start be like, well, no, I'm going to continue to be king. Why shouldn't I be king? We're Numenorians. Why shouldn't we continue to live on?
Kuryatan. Yep. I got there right when you did too. I love that. I love that we just know right where to look.
No, because I was actually had it bookmarked, because I was like, okay, this is a section I got to come back to. But to end off my section of this, definitely can't wait for more Numenor in season 3. But also for like when we do get to the sacrificing part, I want them to show that in the show, and I feel
don't
like
think they will. I think they'll allude to it. I really think they're
going
to allude to it.
I feel like they need to show it.
They need to show
I wish
it.
they would
show it,
but I feel like they're going. Well, I don't know. Game of Thrones showed like a 12-year-old get burned alive. So
we just saw Kelly Brems. We just saw Kelly Brems literally get speared.
I love you so much for saying Kelly Brems.
We just literally just saw Kelly Brems just get speared like up against a pole. I mean, they have to at least show that. But I feel like they're going to put Elendil's daughter. I think that's how I think she's going to go. Eärien. Yeah, I think that's how she's going to go.
We'll see. Dan, what are you excited / hopeful to see in season 3?
Ooh, well, I'm really excited to see the creation of the One Ring. I mean, I always love to see Sauron, but that's something that, I mean, it's the one thing left, and we need to see that happen, because that precipitates just about everything else that's about to happen. And I just really want to see that moment of that, this thing that for 6 films and all this TV show, we were leading up to this, that this thing is this evil, this great evil that everybody's afraid of it. Everybody wants it to destroy it or to have it. It's for something so small has such great consequence. And I really, that's a theme, I think, in Tolkien. The smallest things can have the greatest consequences.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I've never heard that, like, because I know the theme, especially more in reference to the Hobbit. Hobbits. That's an interesting part as far as like the inverse, or I guess the inverse as far as like the moral inverse of it, as far as it being related to something so evil and so powerful.
So that'll be really awesome to see. And I mean, I know we're going to see it, so I would assume it'll happen
be a
early
significant
on.
Scene.
Yeah. I assume it'll happen early on in the season, relatively. But I think that'll be a really, really cool moment. As for what I want to see, I really want to see the distribution of the 16. I want to know where these rings are going. Not necessarily, what's going to happen to. We know what ends up happening to them.
Are you more concerned about? Are you more interested in the dwarven rings, like what happens with them and like how it like affects their socio-political environment? Because like we know what happens with the men,
right?
Or are you interested to see which men get it of the race of men, and like is it anybody we know?
Well, that too, because we've all been sitting here theorizing. Is it going to be Theo? Is it going to be? We know there's going to be one Easterling. I think they talked about that earlier today.
Hamul, at least
on the Voices of Arda live, they were talking about this. But yeah, I want to know who else is going to get those rings. And we know what the consequences are, but we don't know who gets them and what that consequence is for them and for where they are and their people. And yeah, the dwarves. I mean, we know what happens, and I don't think we're going to see the end of the dwarven rings.
Right.
But it'll be neat to see what those rings end up doing to that race.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes me wonder, because I'm blinking right now. When do the 9 get delivered? Is it before? Is it before? Is it before or after his captivity in Numenor?
Hold on.
I want to see.
I'm pretty sure he distributes them beforehand, but I don't think that they're. Well,
I don't think they become wraiths until after that. But
yeah, no, because that's what I was. Because I was thinking in terms of
because I think it prolongs. I think it prolongs their lives until. I don't think it even says in the appendix B.
It does. I'm looking at it now. And it's like 2251. It says about this time the Nazgul or Ringwraith, slaves of the 9 rings, first appear, and it's I think.
Well, that's before he's taken captive.
Yeah,
because it's 23 something. That Numenor falls, and he's not even in Numenor. He's in Numenor for like 3 years.
Yeah, as far as on the goes.
Who has the 9 right now?
Sauron. He got them from.
How did he get them?
From
Galadriel. She had them stowed in her jacket or something, and they fell out, and he grabbed the bag.
Yep.
Yeah, when she jumps off the cliff.
I thought she jumped off the cliff with them.
No, he picks up the bag, and then she starts to give him Nenya.
Yeah.
And then she closes her hand.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then Creed starts playing. Hold me now.
Hold me now.
Because I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm
drinking.
Maybe 6 feet and so far down.
I love that you're doing the voice, man.
I had to.
So
Sam, same question to you while Zay looks up what he's looking up. Also, I like that you changed your background to Túrin I Hîn Húrin, which is another name for Mirkwood, because I'm sure you're gonna say that's Mirkwood, because I know that's actually Mirkwood.
Well, it's Tolkien's picture of Fangorn Forest.
It's Fangorn. Well, I'm a fake fan. I'm done. David, this is your podcast from now on.
There's a whole thing of like the early mythology of his drawings changed a lot, but yeah, the title of it is Fangorn Forest, but it's
it looks so, I don't know.
Yeah, it is meant to be Mirkwood as well. Or Mirkwood was heavily inspired from the drawing. Yeah.
I knew that, of course. Anyway, Sam, same question.
I'm actually I've got a reel in my drafts that I've just been editing every so often. It's actually on some of Tolkien's art, so maybe it'll touch on that. But if the fall of Numenor does happen in season 3, and I keep going back and forth as to like, will it happen, won't it happen?
Doubt it.
Yeah,
so early.
Yeah, but I'm scared they're still gonna rush it. Anyway,
no, I hope not.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I don't want it to, but I'm preparing for it too. Like it things feel like it's going to progress quite quickly. But anyway, I'd prefer it not to. If it does fall, I cannot wait to see Isildur stealing the sapling of Dimloth in Amenelos. And I want that to be a significant scene. I've been thinking about it literally for years. There was a scene in season 1 when Theo goes back to get some supplies from the Southlands village, and there's like a full stealth mode scene with the camera behind him, and it felt like something out of a video game, and that's what I'm envisioning for Isildur. So that's only if the downfall does happen, but otherwise things that are probably more realistic to happen in season 3, the distribution of the 9 and the origin of the downfall of the men, and Goldilocks.
Oh yeah, Laura
Yep.
Findlay. That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Your goat been confirmed early on
yeah.
that he was coming in.
So, but are you team
Yeah.
Laura Findlay with Telporno, or Telporno
No.
can't be there?
Straight up
I want
nor.
them to be. I want them to be separate because I'm all for Celeborn to be in it, but maybe he comes later. And separately, I just think that Glorfindel is such a significant character that I think Celeborn will completely
Ruin that.
completely steal his thunder in that way. And I keep thinking in the ways in which he'll arrive. Like, will he already be there in Rivendell, or will we actually see him arrive? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Because it felt like they just put when it comes to Celeborn, it feels like they just kind of put like, I'm sure he has that first mention, but it feels like they're not trying to rush to bring him in. Like, it could be.
To be fair, like what there, I mean, like there are people who like Celeborn. I will give them that. David, I know you hate Celeborn. I see your face right now. I see your face. I know what you're doing.
I won't give them. Racist piece of shit.
But yeah. Though, listen, if you want to do a whole episode on that, we will do a whole episode on that. This is not the time. What significant thing does Celeborn do that we all care about? And I like, if Belmont was here, he would have fucking, I'd have been dragged in quarters for saying that, because like I guarantee you he knows, and he'd have been like, how do you not know? Because I don't care about Celeborn. I'm sorry. That's all it comes down to, is I don't care about Mr. Galadriel, because Galadriel is a much more interesting character. And that's why
I also think that they've name dropped Celeborn, and they've said, oh, he's lost or whatever it was.
Yeah,
we need an explanation as to what that means, where he was.
Yeah, see, and I do understand
that.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah, I do understand that, because like that was a weird writing choice, because like Galadriel and Celeborn, like canonically, don't always do everything together. So it could have been like, yeah, man, he's just in fucking Eregion right now, because that's where he would be right now. Like they do that all the time. They're just apart a lot. Like it's almost a fucking political marriage sometimes, is what it feels like. Am I wrong, David?
Oh, he's like, I've been in Laudernande, so Laudernande this entire time, because you've been hanging out in areas too close to dwarves, and that's the reason why Telporno was
Oh,
because then they say he was. Because then they say he was actually he was lost to war, like he didn't come back from a battle or something.
No, he died. Yeah. They said he died.
I thought he said he was lost. I thought they left it open ended to where like you can interpret it as him dying, or you can interpret it as far as like him being lost to.
I'll have to go back and watch. I have to go back and watch.
Because I think
I've only seen
like
the first season twice. Oh my gosh, it's getting late. I'm getting tired. Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn like that.
But just to confirm, it is the 9 showing up and then him getting captured and going to Numenor. So that is it on the appendix.
Yeah. Okay. So
the 9, like the 9, the ring wraiths showing up.
Yeah.
And then he's captured. Okay, so he already has his commanders. Okay. So that means that they flee when Numenor comes up. That means his wraiths flee. That would be cool as fuck to see, actually. To see Numenor scare the shit out of the wraiths.
Well, that's why I was wondering about it, because we know some of the nine are Black Numenorians.
Right, but what I'm saying is
So
like
it's
they are slaves to the ring at that point when
No,
they're
no, but
raised.
that's what makes it interesting, as far as like when they flee, like, do the Black Numenorians who are like raised or are of the nine, do they flee, or do they know what he's doing, type of thing?
Oh, that would be really cool to see.
Like,
Because I guarantee that's at the end of the season. I
oh,
guarantee you
oh,
that's
I
how the season ends.
so what I assume was going to happen, my prediction is that, again, it's a prediction as well as wishful. What I hope they do is, I hope the very opening shot is Telperenquar, Telpi, Celebrimbor as the banner.
Celebrim Banner.
Yeah, Celebrimbor Banner. Yes.
I'm gonna pour
I
one out
hope-
for Celebrim Banner right
I
now.
hope that is the opening shot.
Well, every season both seasons so far have started with a prologue of sorts, right?
Yeah,
So-
like a flashback.
And we know
Oh,
that
yeah.
this season is
Jumps
jumping
ahead.
ahead, so maybe
Mhm.
we'll get a little bit of and
That-
that's
Yeah.
part of it then,
Yeah.
because otherwise he'd be carrying Celebrimbor's body for
For like
however many
5 to
years.
10 to
5 years,
20
yeah.
years, yeah.
And then
Um,
and now that gets me to thinking about if they since they might be doing if he's making one, of course the other rings will have to be distributed. But
mhm.
now it gets me to like the transformation. Like as soon as they get the rings, do they automatically become race, or is it like a slow
no, it
process?
extends.
I think it's a slow
That's the
process.
thing. It extends their lives. It's similar to what happens with Gollum.
However,
Well, think
the
about it.
show,
Think
the
about it.
show
Go back
has
to the Tales of
compressed the
Years thing.
timeline.
I'm
So
sorry, Dave or Dan.
the show has compressed the timeline. So this is
Yeah.
all going to happen a lot faster than
Yes. In the show, it will. But like, let's think though. Unless it doesn't, because the
So-
War of the Elves in Sauron goes on for hundreds of years.
So, but this is what I think is going to happen, and I feel like this would probably be the best way for them to do this. So if we know that there's a jump in the timeline
Mm-hmm.
for the War of the Elves and Sauron. So okay, opening shot, Celebrim Banner, we get brought up to speed about things. Laura Findlay shows up, Glorfindel. He turns the tides because Sauron's like, what the fuck? Like, you didn't tell me first stage Noldoran elf is gonna be here. What the fuck is this? Like, and so like Sauron.
I hope
has
he
to
says it just like that.
Sauron has to retreat because he has Laura Findlay there. He also has the dwarves coming at him from the other side. Sauron has to retreat, and Sauron has to start thinking, okay, well, I need my lieutenants. I need my captains, because these orcs aren't going to do it for me.
Mhm.
And they're liable to, turn on me, just as I made them turn on Adar. So that's when we start to see, like, so I think that's all episode 1. The rest of
Damn, that's a lot of
the
episode
build,
1.
Yeah.
the rest of the buildup is more of like Sauron going and like kind of manipulating his way into these different kings of men, or these different leaders of men,
Mm.
to be like, hey, like, basically make them like, I think that would be a great way for them to show that, like, have it season 3
That'd be
be primarily about Sauron and his manipulations of different tribes or
Mm.
groups of men, and
Mhm.
getting them to join his coalition to be his lieutenants. Then when he's about to like start like full on assault, or when he does full on assault of elves and men, and
Mhm.
Numenor comes, he's like, okay, well, let me just feign this type of thing. Let me just feign this defeat and then go.
Yeah.
We end season 3 with him going to Numenor. I hope they
Well, but here's
save
the
season
thing. Like,
4
I
for
need my
that.
lieutenants. Where does the One Ring come in? Because like he's gonna have to have a point where he goes, I need
Yeah,
something to
well,
focus the power.
No, that's what I think. I think
Because like the way it is in the
amidst all that,
book, the way
shows
it is in
that.
the book is the elves are wearing their rings. The 9, what?
That's
it's,
no,
it's
no,
gonna,
actually,
that's the thing, it's
no.
gonna be way
What you-
different because like
what
the
you- what-
16 are in Eregion at this point.
What you're saying is correct, though, because what he'll have to do, because that actually brings up a good point that I didn't think about or mention, as far as like, because what's going to turn the tide of battle is Gil-galad has his ring,
Mm-hmm.
Artanius has her ring.
Right. I like how you didn't say
Gideon Tom-
Gil-galad's name.
I
Quenya.
forget his his
Iranian.
name.
Iranian.
That's Sindarin still.
No, that's his. That's his.
No,
Quenya
that's
name, isn't it?
it's still it's Sindarin still. It's like because
You
I
just
forget.
shattered my world.
It's like because I always get
Hold
Orodreth
on.
and Gilgalad's names mixed up in the Quenya because it's like Artenesto.
Oh, you're
and
right.
all
That's
that.
with an A.
Yeah. I always forget their names. But Kirtan and
Artenaro.
Artenaro. Thank you. Artenaro has his ring. Artanis has her ring, and then Kirtan has his ring.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the only rings that Sauron has would be the 9.
Right. Because
Right?
the dwarves
So-
have their 7, because that's
so
how the
he-
show's
he-
doing it.
And he's going to be challenged by the power of the 3.
Right.
So that's going to force him. So when he's facing like a little bit of defeat, he's going to have to go back and forge the 1 ring.
Right, because in the book it's more like, all right, now I'm gonna bring them all together, because they're all like they're all in Eregion. He doesn't know about the 3, but he's
So
like,
he's
I'm
gonna-
gonna bring all the
he's gonna
16
ha-
together so I can like start to control them, and so they can do what I want to do. So it's
So
a
he's
little
gonna-
bit different in this.
So he's going to have to face defeat from the challenge. He's going to have to face
Yeah.
defeat, or at least the threat of the challenge of the 3. He goes forges the 3 goes and forges the 1. When he puts on the 1, the 3 realize that, oh shit, like we can't use these because he can see us, like he can control
Actually,
us.
that's gonna be super fucking cool for him to put it on, and for them to go, something's not right. I feel
it in the water.
someone here.
I
And
feel it in
that's
the
why
air.
that was
In the
my
water.
most anticipated
Oh,
moment.
son of a bitch! Hold on. Vilya is air, right? And
Vilya's air, Nenya's water, and
Nenya's water.
Narya's fire.
so I feel it in the air. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the fire.
Yeah.
Get it then. Why's your hand in the fire? Don't ask me, but I feel it there. Anyways,
And so like so then that from once the 1 ring is developed, then he could though he could actually give the 9 before he creates the 1. That's the other possibility too.
say it again. He what?
He could deliver the 9 before he creates the 1.
And then it could be like
I
some
feel
sort
like
of.
I feel like it's probably
I think-
going to be that way, because then he's gonna be like, I wanted to like be able to control these men, but they're not. I can't subjugate them the way I want to.
He
So
can't
I'm
be
gonna
immediate.
create-
So he
I
he
feel like
said-
that's what it's gonna be,
yeah.
because like it's gonna be completely different. I mean, it's already been completely different from the book.
It could be like also that he gives the 9,
mhm.
and then he's like the men aren't listening. Like it's like what the fuck? Like I gave you guys these gifts so that you guys would listen to me, and then he's like, fine, I'll do it myself, and then he forges the 1, and like
Oh,
that's
we're gonna get a
his-
Thanos moment.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't want them to turn that into like a mystery box, especially if you give
Yeah.
it to the 9, because I can see them going that route. Like,
Mm.
okay, like he doesn't have the 9 rings anymore. Who did he give it? Who did he
Oh
give
my
it?
Yeah.
god! If we have another fucking
Yeah.
And that's what I,
I
feel
don't
like
want them
that's
to
the
do that.
direction they
Out.
could go.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I-
and I'm like,
Yeah.
did they give it to Kemen? Did they give it to Tino? Did it like it could be almost any.
Right.
But
Right.
that's why I think it'd be more satisfying for them to do season 3 about him,
Yeah.
basically, like the misadventures and journeys of Sauron, because not
what
only
a
do you get
cute
to
what a cute story would that be?
not only do you get to see Sauron, like you get to see the kings or like lords or people he gives the rings to, but it also
Mhm.
opens up the possibility of like you get to see these other realms that we haven't gotten to see. Like that's the one fascinating thing, despite how much I dislike the rune storyline so
Mhm.
far in Rings of Power. I like the fact that we actually get to see rune.
Yeah.
We actually get
Yeah.
to see
Mhm.
parts of the map we never get to fucking see
Yeah.
or get any type of background for. So I think with Sauron like hand delivering, taking them to these different places, I think that's one of the ways that we can do that. We can also see like we can even see him encountering the different wizards too.
Mhm.
But I think that would be the best way for them to show the 9
Yeah.
doing all that, and then just have as Sauron's doing that, you can have like the Rivendell kind of being established in the background, Laudernende being established in the background as well. You don't really need to commit a whole lot of time to them being established.
Mhm.
Like, but then also you can leave more of that. You can give that broader room for development for Numenor as well. So
Yeah.
basically have Sauron as A plot, him delivering the rings, Numenor as B plot, Elven Kingdom, Elven refuges as like remnants that get protection from the ring after the One Ring is destroyed. Have them be the sea plot.
I got you.
And I feel like that's for 8 episodes. That's going to be. It's still too much. That's what
No,
I.
it is. It
Dude,
is.
that's what I thought.
It's
That's what I've thought every
years.
single season is like you're covering too much, you're going too fast. But also go read Appendix B and you'll see it's just time jump after time jump. It's just kind of like part and parcel to being part of the second age, I guess. It's just like we're going quick, guys. Hold on.
Yeah, and I get that. It's just it just felt like if just cut the fat at this point. You only got 3 seasons left. Cut the fat.
And again, that's the thing. Like I know people get upset about it, but I'm kind of okay with them cutting the elven, like outside of the war parts. I'm okay with them cutting the elf scenes. Like I know like that's odd for me to be saying that, but like it makes more sense to give more focus for Sauron. I'd rather see the men who Sauron gives the 9 to.
Well, that's kind of important at this point, though.
And I'd rather see who are the 7 that Túrin gives the 7 to.
Yeah.
And I'd rather see.
Well, but don't forget, there's also.
And I'd rather see Numenor.
But also, don't forget of the dwarven storyline.
No,
there's also that socio-political thing, like his brother's coming.
What? Yeah, and that's kind of frustrates me that they're bringing
figure
that
out what to
tension.
do with the whole belt. Anyways, we're getting off on a that this is a whole different episode we accidentally started. David, what is something you're actually excited about or hope you see? What's up, Sam?
Ñolofinwë.
Yes, thank you, David. I'm gonna have to scoot. I'm so sorry I couldn't stay till the end. And
no worries. Hey, Sam, real quick.
Love talking to you all so much.
So everyone can find Sam if you want to continue the conversation at Gloomweaver _ right? If
I think so, yeah.
Would like to continue any conversation, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, right?
Yeah, I think it's all Gloomweaver, yeah, with an _, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for
I
joining
love talking
Sam.
to you all. This was really fun.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thanks, Zay Zay and TJ. See ya.
Bye, Sam.
Bye.
Bye, Sam.
Bye, Sam.
So David, what is something you're excited about besides you seem pretty excited about a lot of the stuff you're just talking about, but what is one specific thing that you hope to see or are excited about in season 3?
Glorfindel. Yeah. I want my first stage elf, like Noldoran elf. Yeah.
You're gonna that's your answer for both. I like that.
Yeah, that I'm excited. I mean, that and the Celebrimbor banner. Those are the 2 things that I like. Fair. If I had to say, like, I need these in season 3, those would be the 2.
I will agree with Celebrimbor banner 100%. I need to see Celebrimbor banner because that is very crucial to how Sauron kind of subjugates or whatever, or lords over or spreads fear to the elves.
Yeah, show more of his sadistic side.
Yeah.
Because like that's the point where of no return for Sauron is that business with Celebrimbor. So that needs to be solidified for me. What I hope to see is sweaty shirtless Sauron banging a hammer in Orodruin in Sammath Nawa.
That was my other reason for wanting to see that creation of the ring.
Oh, fair. I mean, Charlie Vickers.
I wouldn't mind it.
Charlie Vickers shirtless. We're not. Can you blame me? Anyways, we're gonna end it. Thank you all so much for being here. David, thank you for being here again. Real quick, remind everyone where they can find you if they'd like to talk more with you.
You can find me on Blue Sky, Substack, Threads, Instagram. I'm on YouTube, but I haven't really posted anything really. You can find me all at David the Ñoldo. That's DAVIDTHE and GOLDO on all those sites. Basically, any social media, you can just search for me there, and I'll likely be there.
Thank you very much, David. Dan, what about you? Where can everyone find you if they'd like to keep engaging with you about Lord of the Rings? And also, by the way, Dan loves Jurassic Park. That's why he's Dinopark Dan.
Put that out there. Right. It's Dinopark Dan on TikTok, Blue Sky, and then Threads. It's Dinopark Dan 89.
Okay. Zay Zay, where can people find you if they want to keep talking with you about Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion? Also, by the way, Zay makes some hilarious memes that show up on TikTok. He has had some that have had me in tears. So definitely go follow Zay if you want to find some of that stuff. Like some of the insights Zay has through like melding of a couple of mediums together has been amazing to watch.
Is it the Keller Gorman Carruthers one? 'Cause
It's
that
not
one-
listen, Zay, it's not just one, it's numerous.
No, that was the one that really just made me just laugh for like 10 straight minutes.
Oh yeah. No, you've had numerous where I've
Oh,
laughed my
man.
ass off, man.
I was not bad playing to make it that funny. It just came to me. I think I was just searching through CapCut and I just found, I'm like, oh, this is the one. This is the one.
Nice. So where
But,
can people find you if they want to keep engaging or follow you?
Oh, wow. You can find me in many places. You can actually find me at the Blurty Dad on course, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Instagram. I do have a Substack, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Because I do like to talk about movies and what's upcoming and things like that. But I'm still trying to figure it out.
Can you spell that username for everyone just in case?
Oh, sure.
For those who are not watching.
Oh, sure. It's at the Blurty Dad. So it's at TheBlerdyDad.
Thank you, Zay. Any other platforms that you have?
Yeah, like I think I already said, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. What's the other one? Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I don't even use Twitter much anymore. That is just a cesspool of bullshit now. So it's just
Yeah.
I think I'm off of Twitter now. But yeah, those are my main ones.
Yeah, I don't even have Twitter anymore. Gone.
Yeah, I understand. I can't take any more of this dumbassery from that place. I really can't.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Tolkien on Tap. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on any of my social medias. I'm on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at _Neej. Namarie.